What the hell, Twitch?
Hello. There we go. Hey, hello, welcome.
God.
Welcome to the Astropub, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul, Berserker01, Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the Astropub. Your space bar at the end of Twitch. Tonight, I have some very special guests.
I am definitely special.
Yes, we're all special in our own unique ways. We're all Star Citizen.
I have a helmet.
Helmet special.
I forgot.
Screw you guys. I have a helmet. All right, you know, don't have to put it on
I know.
just to prove that
Do I have to
I'm
go get
special
my hockey helmet?
Yeah.
Do I have to go get my goalie mask and put that on?
Go outside
I'll just close the visor.
On it.
He is the Astropub.
Yeah.
There you go. So this is the Captain's Table, where we do talk about Star Citizen, and most of the time, and sometimes we drink, but mostly we talk about Star Citizen, and I bring people from all over the all over the Star Citizen community to come talk. This week we have a couple of cool folks here. First, we have
Just a couple of
the man at the head of the table. You've seen him once before. He is the man behind the most rightest podcasts I have seen. They've called more shit than anybody else has, and like consistently and right. From the Info Runners, Dyson. How you doing, Dyson?
Doing good, except for we were wrong about the Pioneer, but win them, you lose them.
Yeah, I was right about the Pioneer, but mostly about the money.
I think I was right about the Pioneer.
Well, everyone was calling it to be like, oh, it's going to be like $500. I'm like, it builds bases. It's going to be at least $800, and everyone was like, "No," and it's like,
No, I was thinking
perfect
it's the same
sense.
as a capital ship because
yeah, it's a capital ship.
yeah.
All right,
Based
so
on size alone, I knew it was going to be over $750.
so Dyson, what was your what do you guys do? What do you do in Star Citizen? Where can they find you and what you do, all kind of such?
Vacuums, right?
well, that's me.
That is me. I'm the
Dyson guy.
dumber one. You might say. The dumber one and the prettier one. So, fair trade-off there. But we are the Info Runners. We have a YouTube channel. We sometimes stream, but due to the horrible timings of Australian and American time zones and trying to make that work, YouTube's the best way to see it. And we are a theory crafting channel. We'll just call it that way. Throw away the news. Let's talk about stuff interesting. And see what works.
I think I'm supposed to take offense to that.
Only a little
Yes.
bit, Eris. Only a
You
little bit.
resemble that remark, Eris.
But either way, we just throw enough stuff at the wall and we see what sticks.
Yeah. Awesome. Next, we have a man you may have seen before, who is off and on all the time. The Hugger himself, Chief Hugger. Is it Chief Executive Hugger, CEH, or?
No, it's not a chief executive role. It's
is it
chief
like-
hugger. It's more military.
Okay, I was gonna say God Emperor of the Universe Hugger.
Hugger in chief,
Hugger in
actually.
Chief. Okay.
Yeah, hugger in chief.
Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen?
I am Grockies. I stream Star Citizen. I voice act and stuff for Star Citizen. Not official Star Citizen CIG stuff yet. Hire me. Hire me, Sig. Don't do a volunteer. Fuck, just put me in the goddamn game. And I hug things. You may have seen me on a recent Citizen of the Stars.
Yeah.
And today I have no fucks to give because I'm on medicine for spine pain, so no fucks are given here. I'm going to be talking shit about some stuff probably.
Yay! All right. Next, we have the man, the myth, the Canadian legend, who is also prone to shouting things in microphones.
I do not do that. I do not do that at all. That is a lie. Why would you say such horrible, slanderous things about me?
That's why.
He didn't shout it into the mic that time. He learned to back off.
I'm learning.
Who are you, Eris? What do you do?
That's a good question. I'm the bow-tied, bespectacled bastard. I've been brought back to bitch and binge beer. I help run the relay. We do news and other stuff. We do transcripts. If you've read a transcript, it was probably brought to you by Relay. If you've watched the subtitles on a CIG video, they were probably brought to you by Relay. Because, man, the auto YouTube thing is bad. No, I run Relay and do some podcasts and basically spend all my time waiting until you'll call me back.
Yes. I am that horrible date that just doesn't call you back for like 2 weeks, and then calls you out of the blue and expects you to have exactly 1 hour to get ready and then go out on a date. That's what I do. I'm that horrible person. Next we have
the heavy breathing is him.
click. I can't do the voice effects of that, but yes. C Dizzle, who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen?
I'm me. I am C Dizzle. I play this game from time to time.
You may or may not have been to VerseCon this year.
That's what I was going to say next. Just got back from VerseCon like a week ago. Got really drunk. Lost all the stuff I won.
Fan of a losing hockey team.
True. Yeah, that's about it.
All right. And then last but certainly not least, we have the Space Bro himself, the man, the myth, the legend. I can't. Matachi? Just Matachi?
Yeah.
The man who the voice, the person who I cannot pronounce. I couldn't pronounce his name for the longest time. Matachi? Matucci? Matucci. I just call you Mitt. Yeah.
I think the most interesting version was Michiwachi.
Mikuwaki, yeah, something like that. Yeah, I said Mikuwaki.
Yeah, just adding extra syllables and vowels, and that's all good together and all that stuff. But no,
and that's the guy teaching our kids.
M-type. We'll just call him M-type.
Crazy. M-type. There it is.
Don't
again,
teach English.
Paul, apparently I need to drink more, but this has been touched by everybody in Germany, too.
Really?
I flew everywhere with this. I actually got searched at the airport extra, and this is one of the things that I looked at, and I was like, just put it back in the case. Okay. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yes, I'm here.
Yay! Woo! I'm glad you showed it off to people. Just like, hey, look, I've got the Astropub shot glass. Aren't you jealous?
I do. I'm very proud of it. It actually sits right here under my monitor.
Only a few people do have this, so as I keep saying, if you find me at a convention, you let me know, and you might get one of these. So,
absolutely,
shotgun.
I've seen you at 2. I haven't gotten one.
I didn't make them until after those 2.
He almost didn't make it in TwitchCon with it. To be honest, he almost didn't make it in there. He had to actually. I got mine before he went through the gate, but everybody got afterwards. He might have had to stuff those a little bit.
I had to smuggle them. I had to freaking smuggle them in because.
So hopefully you washed them well before you received them. After
I told everyone to wash them
because flavor.
Yeah.
It's naturally sterilized by what you put in it.
Yeah.
Salt on the rim, right?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Wait, are you talking about the glass or where he was stored?
Hey!
About that once.
I like seeing this disgusting
meaning to rim shot.
Or should I say
anywho, this is the Captain's Table. If you guys are here hanging out, thank you for hanging out. We're actually going to be giving away a copy of the game. I have to double check the thing. We're actually raising money for StackUp.org. So if you hit exclamation point call to arms, you'll see a link with to donate. So if you donate, last time I checked, we were at $300. So if we reach $500 by the end of this, we'll do a starter package giveaway. So, but either way, we're going to we'll be giving away at least one of those pew pew guns, one of the SMGs, for you folks. So
all the people that put their time in.
Mm-hmm.
I have many family members.
A lot of us have friends and family members who've served or were overseas, so it's important to. And it doesn't just support U.S. soldiers either. It supports all NATO soldiers: Canadian, U.S., French, German, Danish. Yeah,
good, because we may not call it Veterans Day up here, but we do remember.
Yes, Canada always remembers.
Up here, it's called Remembrance Day.
Well, the thing is that it's one of the few international holidays that almost pretty much every country in the world has because it's the end of World War One. And we just changed it
but
for
everyone
Veterans Day.
named it something.
Yeah. Well, it was named Remembrance Day. Everyone called it Remembrance Day, and then they changed it over time.
I actually did some research on it today, in that over in the UK, they actually have 2 days, because they've got today, which is Armistice Day, and then tomorrow is Remembrance Sunday.
Oh.
They do a 2-day thing, whereas up here in Canada, we still call it Remembrance Day, and we remember all of our all of our veterans on the Remembrance Day, and you in the States call it Veterans Day to remember all the veterans. And over in the UK, they've got 2 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have 2 days too, but we break it up between Veterans Day and Memorial Day.
Right.
Memorial Day is, I think it's a Civil War holdover is what that was. But yeah, some history. But other than that, we are going to be talking about Star Citizen. If you have any questions for the cast, please do hit !question, !question mark, !questions in chat. All of those will bring up a form. Fill out that form, submit it, and we will answer it. But as is tradition, we will start with Mitachi, move our way around. I'm going to ask Mitachi, what are I need 3 things. 1, what did you like about this week in Star Citizen? What did you dislike about this week in Star Citizen? And what surprised you about this week in Star Citizen?
Thing I liked. I think the thing that stood out the most for me that I liked was the visual effects of the quantum drive. I thought that was amazing. I liked the way on ATV where they were illustrating how when you come out it like pops out. I love that whole quantum effect, and I think it's going to be really amazing, especially when you have a fleet like try to synchronize their jumps together. I think that's going to be really cool to like see a whole fleet like pop out. Yeah, it's going to be really amazing. Thing I didn't like, there's a lot not to like. I will say the one thing I've noticed that I don't really think's necessarily bad, but I think might be a little skewed in the way CIG's presenting it, is they're obviously still sneaking stuff into the build a little bit, where I won't call it feature creep, but they're definitely making some adjustments on the fly. So even though it's feature locked as of several months ago, I feel like they're making adjustments, although they be it for the better. But I don't feel like the numbers and the burn down aspect of it are in any way relevant anymore. I don't even think they should be showing the numbers personally, because I think they have no real correlation to when we should expect the build.
You can respond, Eris.
So
can I?
Yeah,
go for it.
Okay, so if you remember a few weeks ago when they actually put things out to Evocati, they cut tons and tons of bugs out of their burn down that week to basically say, okay, we're getting rid of all of this. All we're focusing on is exactly what is remaining until we go to Evocati. And I think what they've done here is bring it back. They've brought back here's all the shit that we left earlier. Now you're seeing it again. And I don't know if they should have left it in the first place. I kind of like how they're reporting it now, in that they've slightly changed the way they're reporting it. They're reporting it as there are bugs and there are tasks and there are features, right? So they've got a bit more in-depth reporting, and I like it this way. I think it's much improved. I wish they had done this from the beginning, but they're learning too, right? Burn Down is new. They're learning how to do this as well. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I take no issue with the actual burn down. I like the reporting. I actually find ATVs very well balanced because we get to see some of the dynamics of what they're working with, how hard they're working on the actual builds and stuff. I think what's lost in a lot of people, and this is where some of the salt comes from the other people in the community, is we had critical issues. This is the critical issue to deliver section. And then we had, these are just shit tons of issues. Just like we know in 2.63, there's tons of bugs still, and there will remain through the whole course of the alpha. And into the beta, actually.
Even when it launches live.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what game doesn't have that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be...
times is reproducible. Once, just leave it in case.
But what we're seeing is, instead of the critical pool here and seeing just the reduction on that, what they're doing is migrating some issues that weren't deemed critical over to the critical pool, so that's padding it back up a little bit. And it's making the numbers where people that hold the numbers to such a high degree of criticism are watching it tick down, but then shoot back up. And it's not necessarily they're creating more bugs with what they're knocking out. They're importing more bugs over to knock those out as well. And I think we're losing that dynamic in some of the way they discuss it. And I think it's important to do, and I think it's going to make the build that much better when we get it. But I just don't think maybe they're communicating that to the community sometimes, and that's why we're getting some of the salt that's really unnecessary from the rest of the community. But that's just my opinion. And surprised... for the last part of that, I didn't really have anything that was super surprising to me this week, I don't think. I mean, there's stuff I was impressed with, stuff I liked, some stuff I think, as always, you could do better here. But there was really nothing that was overly surprising to me that I saw.
Awesome. All right, C-Dizzle. What did you like? What would you not like? And what surprised you?
We're covering a lot of topics on this one, okay?
Okay.
What did I like? The bug and I just fucking spaced on the goddamn word thing with the graphs and shit.
Mm-hmm. The burn down?
Fucking awesome.
Burn down.
Yeah, shit's fucking dope.
Yep.
What did I dislike? How many fucking bugs and other things are on that goddamn report?
Yeah.
What was I surprised about? How many fucking things there were? Where are these coming from? Are they spending their entire time just making up new shit to fix? What is this? No, I'm
What
just
used
kidding.
to be in 3-1
But,
is probably in 3-0.
Yeah, that's really about it.
That's what happens when you get players
and I won
testing.
that
Yeah.
cool SMG that they
It
gave
is
away
that
from Nyx this week. So
Nice.
Star Citizen related,
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
Good deal.
Go Nyx Saga.
Yep. Nyx is awesome.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I think we're in a weird space that it's going to require a lot of patience because there's a lot of bugs left. There's a lot of stuff to get done, and everyone seems to get hyped themselves up. They see the burn down, they're like, "Oh, there's only this many bugs left," and it's like, that doesn't mean shit,
you know?
know? Like anything can happen between now and then. Just be relaxed.
It means some
looking
stuff, but
back
it's
on
gonna-
that message in context.
Yeah.
that was many bugs till Evo Kadi.
Yeah.
not until full
Yeah.
3.0.
PTU.
And-
No.
and
Now
if
we're
you-
waiting for
if you do-
PTU. Is what it
If
is.
you do the math of, because they had cut about 100 bugs when they
150,
switched to, they cut, and now they're down to 82. So you can actually see that even when they weren't, like, even when they switched over to only showing us the Evocati ones, they were still working on the other bugs. They were still getting things ready. And I think that that is actually more interesting to see than most of the other stuff, because it's like, even though they show us a lot, we still don't see some of the behind the scenes bug fixing that goes on. Because anyway,
Yeah, no. And the reality is that they haven't stopped adding content. The thing is, the difference
Yeah.
between adding content and adding new content is this was content that they wanted to put in there in the first place, but wasn't necessary for the build at the time.
I honestly think Dade's right. January.
Sounds like a January release. Yeah, I mean, it's... I can't say.
I actually
anything.
think sooner.
I don't know on that. I mean, and I don't know how the rest of you guys feel about this, but I feel like they've already started to migrate to what they talked about at CitizenCon,
Which is good.
where they're like,
really?
this is the cutoff date where they're going
Yeah.
to go. They're starting to shift to that quarterly metric. Whatever's ready by time their internal date is, that's what's going in, and the rest they'll kind of put aside. Because to be fair, if they're running 60 players like they talked about at 30 plus FPS and they're seeing the performance games, they literally could drop a PTU now, but it's why do it now when you just need to get a little bit more in and get a little more content, or else you're waiting 3 months for something else to drop. I mean, that's just
Because-
the reality of it.
okay, so lots of people are saying they said this is one of my points in a moment, but they said they're hoping to have 3.0 this year, right? Sean Tracy said that in an interview.
Last year.
They said the same thing last year.
I know.
Though. Let's be fair. He did say the
They did
exact
say the same thing last year. This year, it seems a lot more possible, given that we've actually seen some 3.0
Given
than
that
it
time
was
has
last year.
gone in one direction linearly,
It's always
as it
more
does.
likely with
Yeah,
time moving.
but here's the thing. Lots of people are saying that because they're saying it's going to be this year, CIG timeframes, that means it's going to be next year before it's released, sometime 2018 for 3.0. Here's where you're wrong. And here's why it's going to be this year, because CIG have this horrible, mind-numbingly infuriating habit of releasing a patch on the
Stuffing
holiday
it.
live stream
Stuffing it.
2 days before everyone goes on vacation, and then having to bring all the network guys in and have them all work over Christmas to get anything working.
It's
That's
gonna
what's going to
happen.
happen
That's
this
what's
year.
gonna happen.
I promise you, it's going to be this year, but we're not going to be able to play it.
Yep.
if I don't have to write a letter to CIG over the holidays to have Proxys refund me something because I bought the Pirate Cat at full price and then they released it as a skin, I will like this holiday a lot better than last holiday. Because I felt so bad for drunkenly going on a rant and having Proxys email me back like, "It happens, dude. Here's your money back." I felt like such a dickhead. I'm like, you were so fucking level-headed. Now I just feel like a dick.
That's good PR for you.
That's SIG's customer service way. They,
Yep.
you know, they hit you with the, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. And then you're just like, oh, I'm the asshole now. Oh.
Fuck, when did my mom start working for them?
Judo.
Hashtag mom tactics, right?
Yeah, the mom tactics. I
just hire your mom as a trainer.
100%. I agree with Aerosto on this. Is that I don't think we're going to see. I think we're going to see a 3.0 that's just kicked down the stairs at the last moment and been like, "Hey, maybe this will work." Boom. Hey, maybe this will fix people.
Now,
I think
do you think that'll be the PTU, or do you think it'll be live?
I think they do it for everyone in PTU. I think by that point they're just going to drop it out of PTU because they've done that before too. With 1.0, they did that, or they did that as well.
Why not fully release it then? Because essentially, if everyone has access to the PTU, it's essentially
because
live.
they can still say it's busted. They can be like, it's open for everyone, but it's busted. So if you're going to bitch about it, fuck you.
Same reason half the games we buy on Steam now are all early access instead of full releases because it's a cover your ass thing. And, nothing against CIG. Everybody's doing that. Yep. It just works that way because when a game magazine comes at you and you call it early release or PTU or whatever you want to label it, it's easier to kind of roll back in and be, hey, man, it's work in progress.
And the answer is that people who still want to play a non-buggy, non-fucked up, well, I can't even say it with a straight face with 2.6, but if you want to play a less buggy, less fucked up game than a PTU, you'll still be able to play 2.6.3. That's the theory, at least.
Yeah. That strategy really interests me, though, because, like, how do you review something like PUBG? Like, PUBG was popular now and in the past more than it's going to be when it actually releases, probably.
Well, look what happened with Ark, man. Look what happened with Ark.
But you can't.
Ark was super popular when it was in early access, and then when it was released, everybody's like, okay.
But you can't review
because
it.
What was the gameplay difference between early access Ark and full release Ark?
There is
there was a full DLC that you could buy.
And a cost increase.
Yeah,
you could buy DLC for Ark during early access too, right?
Yeah, that made a lot of people really angry.
So
you can pick up poop.
But people get angry at first, man, but then after they get accustomed to early access, they just expect it now. So it's one of those things with every game. They're like, they just accept it. Oh, it's early. Who cares? Whatever.
Complacency is the issue right there.
It is. That's.
I refuse to pick up the Ark DLC because of that.
Yeah, I would too. I've actually kind of refused to play Ark because of that, but
I cashed in my 1,000 hours in Ark in the first 6 months, and I was done.
I refused to play Ark because I had a really good PC and it still ran like fucking ass.
Garbage. Yeah.
So why do you play Star Citizen then?
I was going to say
he doesn't. He doesn't. You don't know he doesn't play Star Citizen.
I don't play it.
No.
I mean,
I do.
That makes two of us, really. Darth Eris.
I don't
Darth Eris.
play it. I do the news. I don't need to play it.
I will say that someone in chat's like, well, I don't know why they haven't released it to PTU now, and the answer is because it's not ready for PTU.
It's not ready.
There's a dramatic difference between Evocati and PTU, and the Evocati builds are frustratingly bad. You don't want to have that be your first experience. PTU is essentially, it's done. They may need to do some small things, but it's essentially like we're within a week or two of releasing it, kind of thing.
Do you remember when they launched 2.0 and it wasn't ready and no one can play and it infuriated everyone because it was literally unplayable and no one could connect and no one could do it?
Hey, I logged in for 15 seconds at a time, brother. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying.
Seconds.
That's what it's like now, so just give it time.
The way I look at it is, if you're going to go to climb your first mountain, you're not going to wear a weighted backpack.
Yeah.
No.
So, like, they're still having this game crash horrendously with just the Evocati members. What happens when a bunch of fucking thousands of idiot keyboard warriors start trying to hop on?
Well, the more people, the more new bugs you find.
Absolutely.
The person who asked the question did say, I actually wasn't around when 2.0 released.
Okay.
So pull up a chair and listen to Spell. We all had
the whole stories.
We all had crash counters on our streams, and we had timers. How long could we stay on until the crash, and how many crashes what would happen in a single session of streaming? That was just the streamers. That wasn't even the normal people or the YouTubers who had to make content out of it. It was trying to play Like there's some cases where you would get to your ship and it would crash. You'd run down, you'd spawn your ship, you'd get into your ship. The second you got up to take off, it would crash. Sometimes you wake up and it would crash. Sometimes you would wake up, get into your ship, jump to one point, and then it would crash. And then the next time it would crash the second you woke up again. It was completely inconsistent crashing, and it was always up for maybe I think the longest
It wasn't
I saw was
inconsistent.
huh?
It wasn't inconsistent crashing, though. I figured out what the root of several of those crashes were, and I was screaming at people while streaming it in chat, do not spawn these particular ships.
Yeah, exactly.
It will crash the server. And it was something like, I think it was the Constellation, and then there was another one if you spawned like 2 of the Connies, or one, like, just don't do it, or it crashes everything. Don't stop it. No. And so you'd get into a server, and everyone eventually started screaming at everyone, stop spawning these things.
Those were the best bugs, though. That's like an ATV where they talked about if you spawn 2 ships in the current 3.0 build, it turned all the lights off in the entire system. I was like, that's awesome.
Does anyone else miss Witch Glitch?
Yeah,
I do. Yeah.
No, I liked those. I want to.
I'm a QA engineer, though, but I love that.
They're
That's in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Like, yes, give me.
Yeah.
I would say, to be fair, though, even though it was a horror story of streaming and playing, it was really fun, but it wasn't the best publicity. It was like, here's the latest one, but it's also completely garbage right now. So
It was fun.
Basically, like the
that were
equivalent
trying
of a
it.
girl letting you play just the tip, and then that's where it stops.
yeah,
That was fun.
Good analogy. Good analogy.
Okay.
I just want more.
Hey,
I will say though, in the 3.0 build that the Avocado working on, they have to have a much longer time to live. Right? We had a few seconds to play and it crashed in 2.0, but in 3.0, you won't even be able to quantum drive across large areas or anything unless you can stay in or accomplish a mission. Unless you can stay in for like 15, 30 minutes, maybe an hour. So it's not like, where we were in 2.0 where, hey, if you got 10 minutes of gameplay before you crashed, you could accomplish something. And here, you won't be able to like go buy cargo, move it around, go get a mission, do anything relevant if you can't keep up the server for at least half an hour to an hour. Like, nobody will have any fun. So you'll be playing the same type of content.
Wait. We're here to have fun?
On a live release,
gameplay.
yes. On a test
We
thing,
eventually
no.
have fun.
So, yeah.
but
I've misunderstood this game grossly.
I thought it was like Eve, another job.
This is a story all about how boot up SC it crashed right down.
There you go. Hey, I love Deep Online.
T-Weeb, the 2.0 released just after the holiday live stream of 2015. It was just after that. So
Yeah.
It was like the day after or something. It was ridiculous.
So-
No, it was during it, wasn't it?
yeah, it was during the holiday live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put it live during. Oh.
Yeah, it's like, here you go, guys. All right, we're going for vacation. See ya. And then they're like, not really.
At least
we're
it
not.
wasn't the
Blam,
at least it
blam,
wasn't the
still-
2016. At least it wasn't 2016
Fairly
holiday live
certain-
stream. That's just gonna say that. That does. We won't
Yeah,
talk
fairly
about
certain that's the only reason they dropped it. Like, fuck, this is a goddamn nightmare. We got to do something.
Yeah.
You just drop it.
it.
Yeah.
Eris, it's up to you now. What did you like? What
Yeah.
did you dislike? And what surprised you about this week?
So what I liked was that ATV was on time this week.
It was early this week.
No. It wasn't early. It was on time. That's the time that they're supposed to release it every week.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Shit, I thought it was Saturday morning.
Well, like we've got a bunch of people that transcribe, right? And Sunjammer is one of them. Is over in the UK, and lots of nights lots of Thursdays he'll be sitting there, and it's like, okay, I gotta go to sleep, guys. It's like it's 1 a.m. Eastern, and it hasn't dropped yet. So I liked that it was on time. I really like it when it's on time because it helps out Relay's transcribers a hell of a lot, and I don't help do the transcripts as much anymore, but the guys that do a hell of a lot of work. So yeah, it's handy when it's on time for them. What I didn't like was that they talked about 60 players being tested and the goal of 3.0 this year. They talked about both those things in a side interview with Newegg that you only found out about if you watched the interview with Newegg or frequented Reddit. Those are tidbits that I'd like to hear. and not have to search out Newegg to hear them. And it's happened before, and honestly, those aren't terrible. It's just trying to think of something I didn't like. I guess that's as close as it gets. But yeah, I'd rather hear those from CIG, not have to go and search. I was
going to say though, CIG at this point knows that anything they drop anywhere, we're going to hear about. We're a tight knit community, and like, if Chris Roberts farts in the wrong place, everybody in the whole Reddit and everyone else is going to spread it on Twitter.
Yeah,
everybody's going to know. So
I know it's. That's
that's
as close as I get to a thing I didn't like, right? Like, keep in mind, this is what I didn't like. I liked everything this week.
I think they almost did that intentionally, though, to make us watch the Newegg thing, because let's be fair, like, nobody was watching Newegg thing except for Star Citizens. And some of the regular people. But
the one thing I've discovered about this community, working with Roscon, is that the amount that people actually give a shit about the community beyond CIG is this much. 99% of the community is just like, fuck streamers, fuck YouTubers, fuck everybody else out there. I'm only here for Chris Roberts because I want to suck his dick. And
who doesn't?
I mean, I was with you until the whole Chris Roberts.
Oh, it's getting late.
But to a degree, it's understandable. A lot of the backers are older and they don't like content creators because they don't see the benefit of it. But as a result,
I'm younger and I don't like content creators.
Yeah, fuck you too. But that will also go for other things in games media. Like, they generally just do not give a fuck about games media unless it has to do with Star Citizen. So talking about stuff on another avenue brings those fans in to boost the visual the exposure of that area, which is 100% in CIG's favor, because now Newegg has more of a reason to partner with CIG in the future for whatever reason they may need. So,
and I hate to bring it back to it, but look at what they were able to do with Intel's partnership.
Yep.
I'm happy that they partnered with Intel. That was a fucking good CitizenCon. Like, that was a really fucking good CitizenCon. It's probably the best presentation we've had from CIG pretty much, period. The only thing that might match it is the town hall that we had in like 2014, 2015. Like, that was fucking good. Anyway,
a real convention.
But we do have to be fair to the Chris Roberts dick suckers, because the British do know how to make a really good blood sausage.
They do. But too bad he's American.
And
is he?
Dick.
Yeah, he was born in Austin.
Dual citizen.
His mother is
no fucking way.
His mother is British and his father is American. His father was a professor over here at UT, and then he went to England, to Manchester, to teach when he was young, and that he was raised in England, and then he went back to the U.S.
Right. Yes.
Wait, so
I knew he was raised in England, so I was confused.
Yeah, if we're gonna continue down the dick sucking path, I'm gonna need some more alcohol for this, I guess.
Oh, you liar!
Can I get a round of shots?
Batachi, this is the Astro Pub. This is the freaking. You should know what you get yourself into.
I know.
The cover fee to get into the bar is dick sucking.
Was there anything that surprised you, Eris, or did you already cover that?
No, I was about to. The anniversary sale stuff. It looked like there was a new ship that they kind of showed off a very simple graphic of, and apparently the anniversary sale is going to feature 8 episodes of Chris and Sandy videos about ships. And that was kind of surprising, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the anniversary sale to be really focused on ships, because we had CitizenCon that was focused on exploration and 3.0. We're going to have the anniversary sale that's focused on ships, and then we'll have the holiday live stream that's going to be focused on Squadron 42. That, to me, is them covering all the bases. Good. Yes, that's what I want to see. I want every year at the end, if you're going to put everything at the end of the year, I want a full run of everything every year.
I mean,
so, yeah, I'm surprised by that, and pleasantly surprised.
To be fair, it's the anniversary sale is all about ships, so it makes sense that you talk about ships. The other the other thing is that the anniversary sale is also a place where usually they have a chance to actually sit down and talk about some of the changes they've made, since they've made some significant changes to ships with the new ship matrix. My hope is that they actually completely fix the ship matrix and isn't just them talking out their ass again, because the last ship matrix was very much talk out your ass for like 4 years. So maybe. Grokkies, it's on to you. Your 3. What do you like? What do you dislike? And what surprised you?
Start with surprise, because it's quick and easy. I was surprised to hear about the 60-person testing thing. Again, because I didn't go to the hive of scum and villainy that is there. Yeah, yes, subreddit, you are fucking Mos Eisley, though you have a wonderful band. What I liked, as always, was Burn Down, just because I've been in Burn Down, like actual development Burn Down meetings. And for anyone out there that might be saying they're using outdated development techniques, no, this is the fucking new agile stuff. This is the stuff that like training only came out in the past 10 years for this. And only then, very, very few companies even adopted it. Like, I switched companies because I wanted to start doing Agile, because one of ours was still doing, like, waterfall and bullshit and not paying for jack. So I like Burn Down. I always like Burn Down because I can read between the lines on it and see how that Burn Down chart is going. And as long as I see the trend correct, then I'm happy. Now, what I didn't like, this is where I'm actually going to have some pretty hefty criticism. They fucking wasted Mark Aiden's time. They wasted his time on an unnecessary task. They did not have to do that with quantum travel right now. That was completely unnecessary to get 3.0 out to everyone else. Even if you had planets in Stanton, you could have added the better quantum system later. You didn't have to have those long hours and lots of coffee and all those things to add in what Matachi said is pretty. That's all it was. It's pretty, and you don't even
Fidelity,
have interdiction
though, bro.
in yet.
Fidelity, though.
We don't need it. The quantum looked really good.
Until
interdiction, we didn't need the proper system.
Yeah,
unless they give us
an
interdiction surprise, we didn't need it. It was a waste of time. You could have had one of the greater bug-smashing guys on more bugs rather than wasting time on something that essentially, for the moment, is pretty. Yes, necessary later. Right now, pretty doesn't serve the purpose of it. I think it was wrongly prioritized.
Yep. It was 100% aesthetic, too, right? It serves no... Like, the way that Chris wanted it modified is awesome, and it's actually on par with a lot of other space games, right? Like Eve and everybody else, they use that. ED uses that too.
The math actually serves the purpose for things like interdiction.
Yeah,
like the math that they're using.
But that's the point. I agree with you. I can't believe they addressed that without addressing the interdiction stuff at that time. And I agree. I don't think it's a high priority right now. But I was just like, so you're going to touch that and not deal with this whole thing over here?
Yeah, they essentially did it to make it pretty for now, and it's like I think that was poorly prioritized.
And they'll probably have to retouch it when they go back to interdiction too.
Do it, Eris.
So here's the thing, and I kind of agree, but there's also some stuff that we don't know about. One is, when is interdiction and stuff coming? Because it could be coming sooner than we think. The main point here, though, is especially with 3.0, what they're trying to get is the base of all of the systems, right? They want to get everything in as it's going to be so they can just build the systems on top of it. So I can actually see them wanting to have something as important as quantum that we're going to be using all of the time to be good right at the beginning. Like, it's close. I know. I see the point. To me,
we don't have a lot of things like mining, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I felt that. But
mining, we don't. It's not like they're half-assing the mining thing for us to use mining for a while. It's to me, it would be, let's get everything we have right now, which is, basically all we're going to be able to do is get cargo and travel. So traveling is going to be a thing that we're all going to be doing a hell of a lot. We want that. Maybe not perfect, but closer to where we want it in the future. We want that now. That's my only thought. That's why I would think that they'd task Mark to do it. Whether it's worth it, I don't know, but that's probably the thought process behind it. Was we need to have the basis for this now.
It's very important, especially with cargo coming in, because travel's everything on that.
And until you have gameplay elements in that revolve around interdiction, what do you need interdiction in the game for?
Well,
because right now you don't get money for blowing up random ships. You can't take the cargo that they were carrying yet.
But you'll
There's
be able
no
to
bounty hunting
take
yet.
that,
Yeah, you
from
can.
what I
The,
understand.
the only reason for that I could see having interdiction in the game right now would be just to kill people for no benefit.
You can take small cargo.
Yeah, you can
And
actually
take someone's ship too.
The problem is that there's.
But you don't have a way to disable their ship, do you?
Yeah, as I was going to say, it's
Not
like
yet.
it
Warlock,
goes, let's go down
Raven.
the. Yeah, but the
Warlock's
Warlock and Raven.
whatever.
Right
Come
now,
on.
the Warlock in 2.6 disables your ship in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It's good for
Hopefully.
like knocking down defenses, but it's not good for anything else.
That might be because there's no components yet in 2.6, right? So, and that's another thing we did actually see this week was the component being shown off the first time, actually seeing a component bloody plug in and power something.
Yeah.
That might speak to, because if your components get fried by the Warlock, then there's a bit
That'd be
more
too
to do.
overpowered, in my opinion.
Well, it's also about the computer systems, because if you look at like the Raven, when they did that video, the Raven has a much faster come up time compared to the Warlock, and now you're looking at, so what gets fried, how fast does it come up? Are we seeing something temporarily right now that's a placeholder, or is it actually going to be more advanced when the Raven comes in? Because it looks like there's some different mechanics
I'd
in
like
there.
to see the EMPs temporarily shut stuff down, but the oh god, what cannons are they called again?
Distortion cannons.
Distortion cannons. Just sucker
Distortion
punch.
slowly
Yeah.
over time.
The sucker
start,
punches
like-
on the bloody useless Avenger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or they also
Start
come standard
actually,
on the
draining systems.
Cutlass, isn't it?
cutlasses too. Yeah.
Yes.
I still feel like there's too much of a focus with the EMPs on a fighter-based mechanic, because, like, are they going to have, like, in EVE, there was something called warp strength, right? Like, you couldn't point something if it had a certain type of strength. Are they going to do that and cross over to EMP? Like, if you have 6 Warlocks, are you going to be able to shut down, say, like, a Starfarer or an Idris or something permanently? I mean,
God damn it, Steve.
there's
I would
some
actually-
sort of
See,
See,
balance
this always
that
cutting
can
his
knock out
nails right
parts
now,
of it.
live on stream.
Oh.
Because think about it
We
this
can
way.
hear that.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's-
But at least he'll be properly groomed when it's all over.
Guys.
Hey, I promote good hygiene, man, from any content creator. That's always good.
Oh. So, Grockies, you were at. That's what you liked and what you disliked, right?
I already said surprised also, which was the 60-player
Those are
thing.
players, yeah.
He led in with
Pushed
that.
away.
Yeah, he led
It was
with that,
just-
right.
I'm like, oh, I didn't. Okay, that's good to know. Well, could have held that, maybe had that over in that interview over there for a couple days and then set it on ATV, timed it for that. But please, like Era said, say it on a, like, I've had this discussion before. Say it on a SIG channel, even if there's a delay. Like, I'm okay. I understand the exclusive with a time frame, but at least then say it on a CIG thing. Don't like just leave it in the ether. Yes, we will find it, but we shouldn't have to do that.
Well, maybe they don't want to lead in yet because they've been testing with 80 plus, is what I'm hearing, and large ships too. So I think maybe 60 isn't the final mark. That's what they're comfortable with saying anywhere publicly. But maybe if this didn't roll out till
80 would be
holiday,
awesome.
can you imagine if we had large ships plus like 80 to 100 people in?
We could have actual.
No,
I
I have never imagined a space game could possibly have that. Never thought it in my entire life.
in a first-person space game. I don't know.
I don't know. That's
I mean, let me do it this way: 60
cap
people,
on Galaxies.
60 people in a game in one server is more than Elite Dangerous has. Elite Dangerous has a maximum of like 30, I think.
Yeah, in EVE Online, we could have thousands, but what they won't share with you, a lot of people who haven't played
Time
EVE
dilation?
don't
Time
understand.
dilation.
Time dilation, plus you never see thousands on grid, and on
No.
grid is visual range in EVE. You see maybe hundreds, and they're little tiny dots, but logistically, you'll start to drop off visual range when it gets too many people on grid. You won't even see people sometimes that are supposed to be.
I think I'd flat out
So-
shit my pants if I warped in somewhere on fucking ED
Mhm.
and there was just 60 real life players standing there.
Yeah.
That'd be the scariest fucking thing.
And then crash immediately afterwards.
Oh no, it's worse than that. On Elite Dangerous, we've tried to get 40 people into an area, and every system, 2 jumps out from that one spot where
We'll
we
just
were trying
chug.
to get 40 for something. It's death. Like 1 frame a second, 2 full systems out from that system. So you
Yeah.
can't.
Damn, really?
That's one of the things that people don't consider often is like you look at something like PUBG and it's like, okay, it's got 100 players or
There's
you
not
know
100
grid.
players in one place. Yeah.
Not on
well,
grid.
but
Yeah.
well, even if there were 100 players in one place, the map in PUBG is 8 by 8 kilometers or something. Like large, but still fucking tiny compared to what CIG are trying to do, and honestly compared to what Elite Dangerous does. And now Elite Dangerous does it horribly.
Well, Elite Dangerous does it in the room system. It basically, there are thousands of players in Elite Dangerous Open, thousands of players who play the game. However, you won't necessarily see all thousands of players in one area, and if you do, as Draki said, it turns into let's see stop motion, animation kind of things,
That's a funny point to bring up too, Eris, is like the 8x8 map in PUBG is the same size as the territories they're hoping we're going to hold on Moons. With Outpost, right?
Yeah.
That's what the whole PUBG map potentially how big.
But
territory. That's crazy.
Like, just them getting to 60 players is actually really important tech-wise, because it's not 60 players in a tiny area where you don't have to worry about. As soon as you, and this is actually the problem that CIG solved way back in 2014, 2015, I think, was as soon as you start getting players further away, without the 64-bit conversion, you stop being able to keep track of them. You lose where they are, and they start jittering all over the place. And we even used to see that in things like Arena Commander. When you got to the edges of the Arena Commander, you'd start jittering around and that's what happens. Like, an Arena Commander map is bigger than PUBG.
Yep. And you have to think about, with 60 players, they're not just talking about individual players like standing around. They're talking about 60 players in ships and Item System 2.0 being online with some capacity. That means all the asset tracking of all those ships' components and parts is also. So they're not tracking 60 individual units. They're tracking hundreds with 60 players on grid in an area at 30 plus FPS.
Now, to be fair,
it's insane.
There is some caveats. We don't know what ships they were using, which, as Graki's pointed out earlier, that larger ships tend to just fuck everything,
kill everything.
They've always done that.
Yeah. So we
don't
know more
assets to track, right?
We don't know if what ships they were using, and we don't know if they spread out or if they were close in, if they were all in one area. There was no details left by Sean Tracy, and I'm going to say no details left by Sean Tracy because some jackass from Reddit's going to pop up here, but this leaker said all of these other things. Fuck you, all right? We're not going to.
There's photos of 60 on grid at Port Olisar.
Have you guys ever seen a cactus?
Yes.
Nope. Never.
Do you know what leakers can do with a cactus?
Yes.
Own them?
Fuck them.
No, would the cactus fuck them, or do they fuck the cactus?
I don't care, as long as the cactus goes in their ass.
I hear agave feels real good on the peen.
Please.
Oh.
I'm getting weird looks.
I was going to say aloe plant, too, because, you get that nice soothing aloe in there.
Ooh, yeah.
Cooling gel.
Probably be very nice after, yeah.
Alrighty.
Smoothest dick in the verse.
Moving on.
I hate leakers, but I read all their posts still. So. I can't help myself. It's like a train wreck. You don't want it to happen.
Here's the problem.
Leakers
100% will not give you any context of what's going on because it's hard to give you context of what's going on in any kind of testing phase. They don't give you any information, and most of the time they just piss people off. Like, they'll leak information and people will be like, oh my god, this is not in the game, it's the fucking worst game ever, I'm gonna rage and throw salt everywhere, even though it wasn't an official post.
The huge leak, the biggest leak in Star Citizen history, the leak of all those ships, and everyone went fucking nuts over all those Vanduul ships that got released like 2-3 years ago, and everyone's like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever, oh, look at all this. Guess what? None of that shit is in the game, you fucking...
True, but I would also argue that leak actually made CIG more comfortable with sharing early access information.
Yeah, because people were okay with it.
They didn't feel comfortable for. Because people...
Did Eris just grow another arm?
Yes, they grew another arm. Yeah. So he's trying to calm them down there. Ease it back.
Eris is actually
the disco leak. The disco leak, even though the disco leak was thought to bring pain and suffering and all the torment in the entire universe, it actually, because it was positive, ended up being one of the greatest moves forward as far as like what their content delivery for the community has been.
But I think that's the exception. That's the exception that proves the rule, though, because
it's that, like, yes, their content got better, but it was CIG's content that got better. The stuff that came from the actual leak was useless. Like, the stuff that the leakers
100% agree. Yeah,
was
it's all outdated.
useless.
But take it with a grain of salt. That's the thing. Anytime you see it, you just have to take it with a grain of salt. Don't get angry. Don't get excited. But be like, oh, cool, this could be a possibility. And then if you see other information, great.
And if people on the internet were mature enough to do that, then I'd be all for leaks. Unfortunately,
they're not. I've already seen people talk about how they're really angry that this game's never going to get done or whatever because they see the bugs, and it's like, you
do you know how fucking development works?
Yes,
no, nobody does. That's the issue.
What about Bethesda? No one goes there and says Bethesda's not going to be a real game.
Oh yeah, no, because Bethesda
they released with the bugs.
With bugs,
they don't ever.
They let the community fix the bugs
because
for
they're
them.
forced into releasing shitty games.
Yeah, and that's what most publishers do, and that's one of the reasons that Chris was like, "No, we're not going to go with the publisher. I'm going to do this on my own." And then everyone's like, "Why aren't you releasing yet?" And honestly, let's be honest. If Star Citizen had a publisher, it would have been forced out by now. In some form. Squadron 42 would have been forced out with the janky animations, and we would have gotten a shitty set. We would have gotten Freelancer too. No one. Anyway, we here understand that, and thank you to. I know that we all probably yell about this a lot, but I do feel sometimes like we are yelling, preaching to the converted, because we all know, and most of the people that watch us and listen to us know, it's the people that we don't get to that don't know. So thank you to everyone out there who realizes the way things work.
And honestly, talk to people who defend this kind of shit, because the answer is, and I've talked with people before. Well, I tried to, and then Reddit decided that it was going to be Reddit. Which is that there's no such thing as a harmless leak. This shit happens when people leak it. People lose perspective on what's going on in a closed build that's not designed to be shown off to anybody. And then they become really depressed, or because the thing is I have seen stuff in Evocati builds that never showed up again in PTUs, and I've seen stuff in PTUs that they've taken out. I remember when they did. Does anyone remember the PTU where they actually had 42 or 43?
Absolutely, they turned it up to 42, 100%.
They fucked it up horribly, and they're like, nope, we're not doing this.
It right back in.
So, and now only just now we're getting 60.
No, we won't.
Because of what you and Ares are saying too, Paul, the people need to consider this. As much as, like I say, hey, I'll read them and all that stuff, you have to take them with a grain of salt. And is it really worth risking your account to leak something that's probably not even relevant in the next 30 days?
I mean,
because that's what you're doing. If you get caught up, or you're doing this,
that's
you risk damaging the game.
Yeah,
you're losing your account. I would never do it. I just wouldn't do it on that basis alone. You damage the rep of the game.
Also, breaking NDAs. That's the number one way. Not just lawsuits. It's been told to me by many developers of software and games is that it's the gaming development world is small and incestuous. Everyone knows each other. Everyone has worked at if you probably it's probably like 3 degrees of one person. Like,
think about how many people at CIG came from Blizzard, and people from CIG have gone back to. Like, everyone comes from everywhere. Yeah. Everyone at CIG Frankfurt is from Crytek. Like.
Well, and they probably worked for another company before they worked at Crytek before, and they probably know people who work at Microsoft and Sony, and so
about a relatively small talent pool. All the same people.
And I also say, if you think making a fake account to post your shit's really like insulating you from that,
no, they find you. They'll find you.
You're really silly because
these people aren't stupid.
Yeah.
No. They happen to be in the possession of a specific set of skills. They will find you. They will hunt you, and they will ban the fuck out of your account.
And they'll also tell anybody they know never to use you to work with you again. Yeah. Not just content creators, but anybody. Like if you were aspiring to get in the industry and you decide you're going to try to leak, rethink that, because a good word from someone like Proxys, who or Underscore, who help run the Evocati. If you say, "Hey, I want to work as an NDA over here at Certain Affinity," they're a company that works in Austin. They helped work on a couple of Halo games in the past. They have their own couple games. Say they have a QA position
guys,
open.
I've got an interview with the QA department over at Ubisoft. Can you, I've done a bunch of work. Can you guys give me a good word?
Yeah.
And if you've done good work for them, they'd be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, he's been a volunteer QA for a while, kind of thing. Yeah. That's
he has been doing free QA for us, and he's been great. He's done all this.
Yeah, it's a reputation, and that reputation travels everywhere. And again, the world, it's a small world in the game industry, so don't fucking do it. Anyways,
Shit, he's watching us. He's watching us.
He always.
I told you that they had
done.
skills.
Get it up.
No, and like Catafor says down there, he says, but the difference between an unpaid tester, NDA, work, and company, it doesn't matter. If you sign contracts and you break them, nobody forgets that shit.
Nobody does.
It doesn't matter what the context of it was. It's like you signed your name, you put your word on something that you were going to follow certain terms. They won't forget that shit, not just in the gaming industry. I know as a project manager at an IT firm, like we found out some people signed some contracts for some other things that weren't related to his job. We terminated them.
Yep.
Because if you can't trust their word on something on a contract like that, how are you going to have them have anything that
they took him out back and they buried him.
IT don't fuck.
I don't even want to be part of the
NDAs you don't
Evocati.
fuck with.
Like, I don't even want to be part of the Evocati because I worry that I'd accidentally release something.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. I don't want to ever release something that's under NDA
because I wouldn't be part of Evocati just because I think it directly conflicts with my job as a content creator. I can talk about this shit because I'm not under NDA.
I was
One
going
thing on the,
to say the one. Go ahead, Grokis.
I just wanted to say one quick thing for people to go check out on development timelines. Go look at the latest BlizzCon video on the Overwatch development timeline. They had 5 years into another game, Titan. You know how big Overwatch is. Look at their timeline and how they went through the process for what is, compared to Star Citizen, a much smaller game. That'll give you a good idea as to actual development timelines from an established, very big, very good company.
Where they're already using assets that they already had made from another game. You know,
there are a lot of good timeline examples to look at, and honestly, even look at something like Call of Duty World War II that just came out or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a
4 years
one.
ago.
They worked on that for 4 years. Most games are worked on for 3 or 4 years.
Let me put it this way:
Star Citizen's only at 5.
When I was living in the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area, Sledgehammer, who made World War II, so Call of Duty World War II, was hiring QA testers when I moved 2 years ago. That shows you how for their Call of Duty game, for World War II, they were testing World War II 2 years ago, and they were actively hiring testers to try to help them out there, like QA testers.
Already established dev.
Yeah.
With pre-existing employees
and pre-existing assets, because they're using the same similar assets and character models.
Yeah.
So.
The big thing is, when you hear of a game being released, it's already ready. It's already pretty much ready and ready to go shipped out the door. They're just hyping it up at this point and putting a little polish on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because they don't want to take that risk. They don't take.
CIG is abracadabraing this game. They're literally pulling the shit out of thin air.
Yeah.
You also have to
there
consider
was no dev
that
team. There were no employees.
There was no assets.
Of course, this shit takes forever.
I think it was last year actually or the year before maybe, that they put out a bunch of really great slides that are really useful for anyone that's having this this argument, that show, back when they announced Star Citizen, they had 8 employees. Mm-hmm. The next year they had like 30. The next year I think they had made it to almost 100, and then they severely ramped up and they started 200, 300, 400. But for the first 2 to 3 years of Star Citizen's development, it was very simple, exploratory, art, ships, story. Let's figure out what we're doing, figure out what we can do.
Lots of
Build
design
tools.
docs.
Build tools. Tools to make the game. I mean, that's what it's been really up to this last year. It's been, we need to build the tools to make this game the way we want it to make it. So
I want the SimCity tool.
It's only been in active development for probably 3 years, I'd say. If you want to count actual development time, it's been like 3, maybe 4 years.
And then if you were to compare that,
the first bit doesn't count.
And if you converted that to man hours, over those 3 years, they are not even a quarter of another dev's man hours.
Yeah.
Just
Because
by
of
sheer workforce.
And I agree with Archie and Chad. He says everybody ends up talking about how long this game takes to build and all that stuff. There's nothing to compare it to. Nobody's tried to build a game like
from scratch,
this way,
from a brand new studio from this size.
And it's like, just like when I was talking to Cameron or Chris Rainbay over at CitizenCon, it's like, this is an R&D game. This is R&D. This has never been done this way to this method. People can try to draw comparisons.
The only comparison you could make is something like Crysis.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like Crysis, the original Crysis. That's the only thing you compare it
The
to.
original Crisis will still melt your computer if you try to run it.
If you sign up for Star Citizen as a backer and you're supporting the game, you have to understand the context that you're signing up for the long haul. There is no context of time. As long as they're delivering and they get on a path to delivering regular content intervals, I expect this game to be in development for decades. I hope.
Warframe's still in beta.
Chris Roberts himself has said that it's going to be in, like, they're going to keep developing it for the next 10 years. Like,
Right.
there will be
something while they're building it. Who cares?
He said that Star Citizen itself, the MMO part of Star Citizen, is basically never going to be done. There's always going to be stuff to add, and there will be.
WoW.
Warframe said the same thing. The Warframe dev said, when this game is done, we're done with making it. Like when we finish,
it's done when we stop.
Yeah,
that's when it's done.
And honestly, there have been some people who criticize Warframe for legitimate reasons, but like 90% of the people who talk about Warframe, even people who criticize Warframe, say it's a fantastic game, and its development model has worked really well for the company. Like.
Yep.
There's like, and that's the reason why I've been like trying to like using Warframe as an example, is because people always like, oh, it's going to take forever. Yeah, it's going to take a while because it's just going to happen.
And Warframe,
we're along for the ride, you know. for
when
this.
People say this is the problem I have though. When people say it's going to take forever, what's going to take forever? I mean, what are you waiting for as an individual? Because that means something different to everybody. Are you waiting for farming to come online? Are you waiting for this? You're at some point during development, the thing you're waiting for will come into the game. And then at that point, are you going to be like, oh, well, I got what I wanted, so I'm good? Right
you
now,
know what?
I get the context of what I want. I get to play with my friends, and I get to watch the game grow. Yeah, I want more game mechanics, but I play it every day.
Yeah.
In the context of
right.
building a universe, Star Citizen's only taken, like, what, 5 years so far? Whereas an actual universe took how many trillions of years? So I think
the relevancy is getting a little.
Well, let's not do that. All right. So
I know.
let's
Simulator though.
let's let
and
Dyson
it's faster.
Let's let Dyson get his 3 in, because we've been running over him this entire time. God damn.
Yeah, we still haven't even gotten there.
We did the one lap. Show over, guys.
Go ahead, Dyson.
Welcome to hell.
Okay, well, I'm going to bring us back to the 60-person.
Is that your
servers
like or
because
surprise?
That is my like, because the big thing is I have seen several videos recently about, is Star Citizen vaporware? And I'm like, well, you can put all these comments out, but you had Citizen Con, which showed a lot of awesome stuff. And now you have this server. They're actually starting to show more and more people, and this means you can actually crew Idris. And you can have 2 Idrises going. You can actually have a full crew. Idri.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I would highly doubt that the what they had for this test is the same as putting 2 Idrises in the same space and watching them battle. It's very different.
Well, just hypothetically speaking, manpower-wise, hypothetically speaking, the ships don't crash it, but you have 60 people, that means you can have at least a fully crewed Idris, and then have the fighters and everything for your 4 fighters. So that is a big step, and all of this pulled together really makes this go, yes, this game is without a shadow of a doubt very tangibly real. And you can point to it now. You can't just say, well, they've shown us this and this. This is, without a doubt, real and visible.
Yeah.
Now for dislike, why is the Xi'an language so complicated?
Because they want it to be ridiculous. They want it to be an actual language. And I feel like I need to take classes on the Xi'an language. And
I've been watching their Rosetta Stone project, and I've been sitting here going, it's like, man, this is worse than trying to learn
somebody made a translator, right, for it?
Yeah, someone made an actual translator that will like auto-translate.
Yeah, so like Google Translate. You just type stuff in, and there you go.
You know how bad Google Translate is? Yeah. Just go watch half a dozen YouTube videos about someone plugging in songs and stuff in there.
I assume it's just as bad. I'm probably telling them all sorts of bad stuff.
It'll get you within the context. It won't get you grammar, though. You know.
What? You try running a fleet with Google Translate. I've done that before.
Actually, no. Sorry. What are grammar?
With an ER, man. So was there anything that surprised you?
partially the 60 people, but I figured at some point it was coming. And I will say this: what surprised me the most is all this content finally coming together is making me start to think that maybe me saying next year for them releasing 3.0 is a little bit too far. I'm actually starting to think it's going to come much sooner. I'm thinking December, mid-December, actually.
I'm still wary as to seeing a full release of 3.0 by this December, only because of the progress we see in terms of what they want it to happen, and from the context of what I understand CIG's purpose of 3.0 is their context is that they want Star Citizen 3.0 to be the first real big gateway for normies to come in, for non-Star Citizen backers to come in and say, let's play this game. You know,
You just dropped normies.
I did.
I've tried to describe it before, and the way I kind of understand it is everything before 3.0, honestly, has been a pre-alpha. 3.0 is Star Citizen Alpha. Right? 4.0 might be approaching a beta.
No way.
I do think so. I think 4.0 will be a beta.
By definition means
feature
all the
complete.
features are feature complete.
Yeah.
So
I think 4.0 will be a beta, because by 4.0 they will have all the features they want in the game.
in 3.5 years.
2 maybe. I mean, the problem is we don't know how quickly they're able to drop stuff in.
We get the first one in, and then we'll throw guesstimates on how long all the features.
That's the problem, is that we don't really know, because this 3.0 drops some of the first features, including things like cargo.
And I agree with you guys. Next year will be the telling time.
Yeah.
If he holds to, we're going to do quarterly drops, like we'll cut it off here, and he doesn't push those dates, and he's like, whatever's ready, we'll drop quarterly. I feel like we're on the right path then.
They're finally going on the right path, because all these arbitrary dates are just stupid. Just either give us something regular or just say it happens when it happens. Don't
give us what there is. We don't care if the specific thing that you wanted isn't there. No. Give us what there is. And if all there is an extra ship or two, then fine. We love ships. Look at us. We've spent $165 million on ships. We're okay with just
give us an ox.
Yeah, the key CIG needs to understand.
There's somebody in your house.
The key is, you have a burglar. The key to maintaining and growing support for Star Citizen is regular content drops. It doesn't matter what it is. It really doesn't. Like Eric said, it could be ships, it could be guns, it could be gameplay mechanics.
Let's look at PUBG. Let's look at PUBG. They haven't added a new map at all, but people get excited when a fucking new gun drops. They're like, holy shit, it's a new game, boys!
Bug fix between quarters, regular quarterly drops of content are fine. I don't have a problem. Because this was supposed to be the year of gameplay mechanics. And it's questionable whether we'll get a live release with any gameplay mechanics this entire year now. Right? So twice. That's what Sean Tracy said in February. This is the year of game mechanic releases. So I'm just saying, you can't do that stuff. I love you, Sean. I love everybody there, but that's what burns you with the media when you say stuff like that. In that, if you
when 2015,
hey, we're just gonna
when 2015 was supposed to, when 2015 was or 2016 was supposed to be the big year, and then 2017 was supposed to be the big year. What next year? That's 2 years in a row of like, oh, just wait, guys, we're almost there, and it's kind of burns you out, you know. It's but we've beat CIG over the head with bad communication and PR for the last 2 years.
Oh my god, yes, we have.
And they've gotten better, but they still need to. And I think pumping the brakes.
Last year's holiday stream.
The only thing I ask is
you can't overlook that holiday live stream, and I honestly think that we need to continue holding that holiday live stream over their heads until Star Citizen stops being a thing, because they can never repeat that.
I think they'll build up this one to compensate for that one, because the CitizenCon and the Gamescom was so nice and solid and smooth that I'm sure that's 100% what their focus is. Let's do a good holiday live stream to erase that one. But in context, all I want from CIG is to do what they say. That was the biggest flaw with CCP and EVE Online. They come out with their beautiful fan fest. They promise the moon. They deliver hardly any of that and give you something else. CIG, just continue to deliver what you say you're going to do it, and don't say it if you're not going to do it. That's it. And just move forward, and I think you'll be fine.
And I think
That's all
that
my
this last
expectation is.
CitizenCon was very much that, because the only thing they
Yeah.
promised, which I was just immediately was just like, that's not gonna happen.
Yep.
Just the whole take my beer and be like, that's bullshit. In front of Zylo, by the way, which wasn't a good idea. Don't do that. Was when they said we'll do quarterly releases. I was just like, all right, cool. Good story, bro. Cool story. Let's see if that happens.
I was really happy when they said no. Squadron 42 will not be shown at this year's CitizenCon,
Yeah.
and they didn't say that 20 minutes before CitizenCon.
That's
They
right.
said it a month before. They were like, "No, guys,
Yep.
it's not showing up."
100% great move, because so many people cried about that. I was like, dude, they're letting you know, preparing themselves, insulating themselves to begin with. This is very, very smart. It's one of the smartest things I've seen CIG ever do, as far as like saying something about an upcoming release. We're not going to have this here. Don't worry about it. You're going to see it later in the year. This is where we're going. And
We
pro
don't care
tip,
if it's
you don't
not
think
there.
You're going to have it holiday. Tell us now. Like, tell us now if you think something's wrong within the holiday stream. Don't wait.
I don't think
Don't
they would have.
stay
I don't think they would have made that commitment unless they with CIG, as we've seen recently, unless they
Yeah.
actually had something.
They've gotten better. This year has been a lot better.
Yeah.
way better communication.
So we still got to hold them to it. If they don't fucking have it by that, there's going to be some serious like issues in the community, because they have now literally unequivocally said that they will have Squadron 42.
I will absolutely.
You know what I think happened?
Stomp my feet and buy more ships. That's what
I know what I think
I'm
happened. Reverse the Verse disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Reverse the Verse disappeared before last year. Like, it was gone 2 years. And all of last year, without Reverse the Verse, honestly, communication wasn't great, because we actually used to get a shit ton of content and information dropped during Reverse the Verse. And it's only in this year that we've started getting more of that content back, because last year we just didn't know. They didn't have this, people coming out and talking.
Well, we have happy hour now.
I know, and and look at what we saw today, this week in Happy Hour, which was the components being plugged in for the first time. Like, that is big news.
Truck
But
stop?
lacking,
Yeah.
lacking that show, lacking that kind of direct interaction with the community, which is something we lacked through all of 2016, quite frankly, was detrimental. So,
Yeah. I think that's. I think we finally
Sorry.
got through everybody. I think we finally got through everybody.
Yeah.
Yay!
It's only taken us an hour and a
Get to
half.
shit on chat.
No. We never got Paul's.
I never do.
Oh,
mine.
yeah.
I always.
Well, you
never do
should,
those first.
Paul.
All right,
You
I'll do
matter
it.
too.
Let's do it real quick. What I liked was that
guys.
ATV was on time and it wasn't like ridiculously late, because I actually got to watch it, which I actually ended up not doing entirely, so it's okay. I ended up reading the relay's review, so that works too.
Thank you.
The thing that I
Shameless
didn't
plug.
like, was that Reddit decided to be Reddit and run around all over the place with all this information and people leaking all the time for no fucking reason, and it hurts. I've already talked about that. Beat it to death.
Paul,
Don't
I
do
think
it. It's
you're
stupid.
scarred, buddy. Can you show me on the doll where Reddit touched you?
It's on the peepee. It's on the head of the
It's
peepee.
easier to show where it didn't touch it.
Yeah. The point is that like the community there has been slowly folding in on itself from when I joined it back in 2013. It was unique, and people, before anybody says, "Oh, well, that's just Reddit. Reddit's just a piece of shit," it's like I've seen subreddits that are run very well and that are very
There's good
positive.
people on Reddit.
Yeah, it's crazy how much of
I-
a negative turn once Dolvac became a mod.
It's actually more once Dolvac left modding.
Yeah, I mean, so what happened?
But-
What happens is like you have like Civilization, our Civ, and our KSP are both very good examples of how you moderate and how you deal with
Trolls.
but also how you deal with new players, new things like
Right.
new people who are like, hey, I don't know what this game is, I'd like to know more. You don't be like downvote them, call them idiots, intentionally attack them, and then go read the fucking sidebar, you fucking asshole. It's like, no, that's not, no, don't do that. Because then
I
people are
remember
like, wow, this community is
Relay
full of
on-
dicks. Because it is. you
Relay
know?
started on Reddit.
Well, yeah, because girls don't buy this game.
Relay started on Reddit.
Girls don't buy this game and go to Reddit. I'll tell you that much.
Oh God! But we started doing all of our transcripts solely on Reddit, and then we were like, okay, no, we need somewhere to archive things, and that's how the site came about. But it all started on Reddit, and like we used to have. Like, I would sit on Reddit and answer people's questions, and Nakara would sit on Reddit and answer people's questions, but it got so attacky and so downvoted, and there was the point where someone was like, oh, Nakara keeps linking to a site, so I'm going to report him to the mods to get him kicked off, so he got banned. Like, there was just so much hatred and anger,
backbiting and backstabbing that goes on there, for internet points, for imaginary internet points.
Yeah,
it doesn't even fucking matter in the game.
You know what? Reddit is definitely, and I appreciate Reddit, even the Star Citizen subreddit. But I like to be. Hey,
Matachi, get Reddit's dick out your mouth. All right, you gotta make a little thing right there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue. I'm just saying. Stop sucking the dick.
I'm just gonna say. Reddit is better as an observer than it is to be an active participant in many cases. And it is, you have to understand Reddit is a mob rule, right?
It is.
And there's a lot of salt in our community, regardless how you slice it. So it's a mob rule. So if you get one person that's starting to chant, hey, you're a stupid content creator, who cares about your opinion, you're just trying to self-promote, you're going to get a mob of them after. And there's no point in doing that. And it's all learned. Going in there and lecturing people on what to do in Reddit was just a attempt in vain. Your heart was in the right place, but it was just
I'm sorry, Paul.
Wrong place to do that.
No, I learned, but I've also learned very quickly because it's not like people are like, oh, you've never been Reddit. Like, I've been a Redditor since 2012, since 2011. I've been in Reddit for a very long time.
You post in there way more than I do.
Yeah, and
you have to try.
I mean, it's a great place for a repository of information. The problem is that a lot of people go there for community, and a lot of places, that's the first place they go, is because they know
these days it's more like a suppository of information.
But that's the problem. If you want anything,
I know that word.
If you want anything that's like beyond just the cover, like the what is it called, the dust jacket of Star Citizen, you don't go to Reddit, because the Reddit gives you the dust jacket. It gives you here's the information, and that's it, and it's that's all it is. You don't get the idea.
It's
of
just
community
now.
But I feel like that's where society's at, right? It's like, whether it's news, Reddit, internet in general, you have to be your own filtering system and take all the information and decide for yourself what's going on. If you're going to be just a drone that takes everything everybody feeds you and runs with it as truth, then you've got a problem anyway.
But the problem is
most
that
of humanity is that way. Yay!
The problem I have with that is that it's like, at the end of the day, all of this stuff is pointless for the game. None of this stuff matters. Everything you post on Reddit doesn't fucking matter. Nobody gives a shit. No one actually cares to listen to people ranting in a comment on Reddit. What they care about is, does this information help me? Does this give me any context to what something else is happening? Or does this give me new information that I didn't know before? Those three things are the basic concepts. And most people just click on the links and go away, which is fine. But anyone who tries to venture in the comments, it becomes like a YouTube comments section. It's like, why did I do this?
You forgot number 4. Is it a meme?
Is it a meme? That's right. Tasty, spicy memes are now the thing in Star Citizen.
And that's why a lot of Reddit hates content creators, because really the people that are hardcore into posting on certain Reddits,
they don't though. They hate content creators, but they don't hate content creators. It's the
certain ones do though, because Reddit in itself has made itself a popularity contest to try to get Reddit gold, to try to upvote. I'm going to say something gotcha, that way I'll get upvoted more than the next guy. And if you go in there with I don't give a fuck, I'm just looking for tidbits of info, it's kind of like reading or listening to Police Scanner. You're going to get bits of info. You can research and do that stuff if you're into that thing. But you really got to research any post you're interested in on Reddit, outside of Reddit, to find out if it's even factual, true, or whatever. It's just something to seed your interest with different things. You cannot take anything as fact. And sometimes it makes me smile. More likely it just makes me shake my head a lot of times. But, I still like the fact it's there. So, hate me for it, but I don't like it.
I don't think that. I think that the Reddit has had potential to not be what it is now, and I don't think it's going back. I don't think it can.
It's called human nature.
No, you can't rewind what it is.
No, and again, I have seen subreddits that were run very well, and I've also seen subreddits that had subreddits that had very similar personalities to it. Like the DayZ subreddit was a very, very similar thing. It grew in popularity. A lot of new people came in. What the fuck is...
He's showing us what a Canadian cell tower is.
Was that the Canuck Shuffle?
Oh,
Don't know. I'm sorry.
He's a moose now. He got bit by a moose. He's becoming a weremoose.
That's gonna be a meme on Reddit.
oh.
Someone gift that, please.
Yeah.
Yes, post on Reddit. I'm sure they'll love it. Yeah.
Also, if you are a content creator of any kind and you want to post on Reddit, just do it from an alternate account.
Yep.
Because people are like going to have initial prejudices against you if they know that you're a content
Make
creator.
sure it's
Well,
an
also,
established
how many
account.
people on Reddit do you think argue against themselves?
Are we still talking about
bet.
Reddit?
I was finishing up my final point was that there are subreddits that are run fine, and I am saddened by the fact that the Star Citizen subreddit has kind of devolved to what it is, and I think it's only going to get worse as the game gets further along. Because people will get really, really like. They're going to go on there to promote their own tiny little shitty org, and then people are going to be like, fuck your tiny little shitty org, and they're going to be like, you're on my kill list now, motherfucker, and they're like, good, suck my dick, and then they're going to show dick picture everywhere, and then someone's going to meme, and then that's going to get
can you
upvoted
copy
to
me in?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Links,
It'll be a
please.
place you go to like look at how like these adults act like prepubescent children on the internet. It's pretty much what it's going to be, and I've seen that.
I mean,
for a
I'll
long
get
time.
all up in that
You've
thread.
seen
for a whole
reality
day.
TV.
The
Everyone on
popcorn will be real. I mean, I'm not denying that, but it's like it could have been so much more. It had so much more potential, but it could have been a contender. Anywho,
barely above nonsense.
I need to watch this. What did this look like?
It's
all
pretty
right,
good.
so let's get to the questions now that we've been an hour and a half in. We had it at an hour, but then someone's like, "No, Paul, you should totally give us your opinions." It's like, no, you don't want to hear my opinions. No one wants to hear my opinions. No one tunes in to hear my opinions. This is for Eris specifically. I think it's a troll question. Human Evil asks, Eris, please explain, considering CIG has 700 staff and has supposedly been working for 7 years, how Star Citizen is not a scam, because I say it is. Wouldn't be so bad if that Chris guy had made a game before, but he hasn't. Smiley face.
Ha! That is a friendly troll question.
Yeah, I figured that. Yeah.
Because 5 years, 700, 400. Chris has made a game. Chris has made all like yeah. That's a friendly troll question. Here's the TLDR.
I was waiting for an
Well
alien
said.
to burst out of his chest.
There you go. There's your answer.
A
Enjoy.
pint says 1,000 words. Or at least when I drink a pint, I know I'm saying.
So he asks again, would you prefer 60 players with 30 FPS or 40 players at 40 FPS? I personally prefer higher FPS and less players. Let's start with Dyson. Dyson, would you prefer 60 at 30 or 40 at 40?
60 at 30, because honestly, if it's a stable 30, there's no problem with that.
Grockies?
Give me 60 at 30.
Eris?
60 at 30, because right now we're not talking about FPS. FPS isn't the most important thing. What's important is networking and making sure that we can get the game with more players. So the more players that we can get, the better. Period.
See,
Who gives a shit about FPS?
If we're talking immediate future,
Yeah.
60 at 30. If we're talking release, I'd much rather have
40 at
40 higher.
Yeah. Michachi?
But this is an unoptimized game, so it doesn't really fucking matter.
Yeah, definitely 60 and 30, because like Eric was saying, they're going to optimize it more. They even said it in ATV if you watch the entire thing. They said that the performance things, the other things at FPS, there's no point in them tweaking them beyond playability to make them really polished at this point while they're still trying to stack more. If they got 60 at 60 or 40 at 60, they're going to try to stack more, and then it'll go down, and then they have to repolish. There's no point in doing that repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, people watch ATV?
Can I put in one more
Some of
He
us
thing?
even
means the
listen to
people
what they
that read
say.
the breakdown of ATV.
Yo, I'd be happy with a stable 30 at 24 people in the fucking server.
If everyone had stable 30, yes.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
QWERTY Poiwait. I have no idea what that is. It's QWERTY. KWERTY. POIUYT.
If this involves spelling them out.
Poity poity. Cutie poity.
Cutie poity, maybe. Yeah.
I don't know.
How much do you think the price will go up for the Aquila when 3.0 goes live? I think all the ships will go up.
Yeah.
At least 50.
I mean, right now it's what? The Aquila was 275. So yeah, probably 280 or 300.
I had mine in a package, so I don't even know how much it costs.
Yeah, everything's going to jump in price.
10%. I think the median average for most things is about 10%.
Depends on how much there's a rover. Because there's a rover, if it goes up $10, then you're usually going to be looking at another. Then you have the Merlin, so let's just say another $10 on that. So then you easily got 30 there, so you can easily get 50 plus.
I think we're going to start seeing ships not going up as much in price. I mean, if you look at something like the Merchantman, it has gone up a lot in price, but it's also gone up a shit ton in size. Like, holy shit ton. I think we're slowly going to see ship prices start to level off. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the RSI stuff is some of the first stuff to level off. Like, I don't really see like the Aurora going up in price or the Freelancer. The Connie maybe, but I'm thinking like $20 to $50 it might go up. And I think we're going to start seeing things not go up as much.
The bigger the ship, the more the price increase, I think.
Oh,
I
Cutlass
think
is definitely going up.
Cutlass, yes.
I also think
we're
going to start.
We're more expensive than Freelancer.
We're going to start seeing the reduction of ships available to purchase. I think after 3.1. I think 3.1 will release, and they're going to start reducing what's available to be purchased to the ones that you see in the base packages. So things like
Plus
Hornet, plus sales. Yeah, they'll probably bring them all back for anniversary sales, but it would be a good idea. And I know a lot of people don't like the forced scarcity that CIG does, but it works for them. People buy lots of shit during the anniversary sale because it works. So why not? And on top of that, people need to get used to the idea of not being able to buy ships all the time. Only concept ships and ships that are available in starter packages. So
plus, once we approach 3.1, 3.2, we're supposed to possibly be able to start buying the ships in game, and that will change everything. Because all of a sudden, you know what? All you actually need is the base pack, and then you can just play the game and buy something. Like it's a different dynamic. So part of it is going to be once that dynamic is in game and allowed. That's going to change pricing as well.
It will, but it's going to be how often they reset those, because they're going to reset them every major patch, but also some of the minors, just like they do our UEC. We just haven't had a lot of patches this last year that ever did that. Mm-hmm. But in the future, with regular content drops, imagine at least every 3 months, if not more often, you're going to have everything reset, and that means the ships you currently own from the in-game purchases and your wallets. That might be another thing that makes people want to buy ships, because they're like, I don't want to have to rework for the same.
I'm honestly thinking that we are not going to see too many wipes. I think we'll see
them during major
builds. I hope they do wipes, because the more wipes they're doing, that means the more builds we're getting.
But we also don't need a wipe per build, because it's not like this is a PvP game, and it's not even a mainly.
It is a PvP game.
If it is a PvP game, and if it impacts the economy, it's supposed to be they need to rewipe to reset to try the new economy influences each time. Or else you'll have
any economic shift in the game, they have to wipe.
And I don't expect.
That's what I was going to say, Greggies.
I don't expect minor patches to get wiped. I do expect like the 3.1, the 3.x, and then 4.0. And
at least, at least for sure.
But they don't need to do it too much either.
No,
I don't think we'll see that. I honestly don't think we'll see that, because if you look at the way they're planning on getting the economy to work, and one of the things they've always said in the reason for allowing everyone to buy any ship in the first place is that it doesn't really matter, because yes, you've got an Endeavor and 100 citizens have an Endeavor, but there's 1,000 NPC Endeavors out there, so the 100 players that have endeavors don't actually affect the economy at all. So I don't really know if we're going to see all that many economy-based wipes of ships because they don't matter. It's more based on the NPC economy than it is on the PC economy.
But they're going to wipe all of it, not just the NPCs versus that, because it's all tied to the same economy at some level, right? I mean, if they make an adjustment to the economy, if they don't make an adjustment to the economy, like adding in a big gameplay element or changing pricing on something to tweak it, then I agree. They probably won't wipe it at that point. But I think they're going to make a lot of adjustments as they figure out, what are we grinding on? We'll figure out what the hot item to sell is. What's the best way to make money? They're going to want to reset and make adjustments the whole time.
Oh yeah, no, they're going to find the meta. People will find the meta pretty quickly, and they'll like right now the meta is warlock missiles. If you have a warlock and a rattler, you can kill every single one-person ship in the game.
Yeah,
in seconds. In seconds, because you just
does that
you lock on, you fire the missile, and then you pulse. Everyone, they're dead in the water for 5 seconds. The missile comes in, it hits multiples, and then you're dead because it basically got hit by like 4 or 5 size 3 missiles.
I need to laugh as everyone else flies out of the boundaries.
Yeah.
Do weapon and ship rebalances need a full wipe or just a rebalance?
Well, it depends because until beta, when people will be purchasing ships specifically because of their meta abilities. And you'll need to reset it because some people will have made so much money doing the meta exploits that they are breaking the economy because what they're breaking the economy is in terms of everyone
right now,
has it.
The economy is not relevant, right? Because you can just run some ICC Pro missions a few times, and you can buy everything in the whole game that's available to buy right now. It's just spacesuits, and that's about it. But when we have a diverse selection of ships and other things, it's going to be more relevant, to reset because it's like, maybe that mission's giving too much money, or maybe Paul's running trade runs of this one resource and it's just OP because it's broken in the game.
That's what happened in Elite all the time. People found a one route.
Every game.
They found a one route early on in the game and they didn't patch it in, so people made literally, I think, something like several $100 million or a billion credits in game. With
the minute Elite's broken to me just because you can make money offline and bring it on to the online games. So
I think we'll see that stuff patched like once a year or like at the 3 point whatever to 4.0 patch. Like, okay, here's all the we have fixed the various economy things. We don't care if one person or two people have abused this economy thing throughout the game because they're such a small portion of the player base. We don't care about it right now. We're not gonna. Why would you wipe everyone?
Let's say
for
I
the
make
5
enough money
people that
to
use
buy
it when none of it matters.
If I said it does matter. Let's say I buy enough to buy size 9 torpedoes all the time. I could troll the shit out of people because that will cost money.
Jake has an interest already though.
But the interest
he bought it
in the
with
game.
real money.
If you buy it with in-game money, and I found an exploit or something to do that they want to change in the game, they're going to want to reset the economy because I'll just buy size 9 torpedoes like crazy.
In the game, yes, but in the beta, are they going to want to reset it every time they fix it?
Beta's different.
No, beta they're going to lose. But
no, I'm saying they're not going to reset until the end. Until they're ready.
No, they're
not going to reset.
They'll reset they've been resetting every patch. Every major patch has been a full reset.
They've reset the entire.
And they've said that they're going to reset the patches. So I have no doubt that they'll reset it just because they'll want people to start from the very beginning anyways because they'll have new content.
And I agree with Eric. After beta, they're going to want to leave it longer term.
Yes, because once beta's in, they'll have everything polished and balanced.
Well, they're going to see what's the long-term aspects because if you reset too often after beta, you don't know how the economy is going to shape.
Yeah, over time. Yeah.
All right. There might be 1 or 2 during beta, but that's it.
Next question from Human Evil, who asks: Does any of you fine gentlemen, or I guess do any of you fine gentlemen, know how far along the Reclaimer is? I think it's in
far.
It's in Greybox.
Pretty far.
Or
it's Greybox or further.
Further.
There are some of the. I think it's kind of like they're doing the room by room. I think some of the rooms are complete, some of them aren't. I would imagine that they're having more like having to spend more time on things like the arm because that's a unique thing to the ship. But some of the stuff that factors from the other ships, it's complete. So Reclaimer is a lot further along than you might think.
Yeah, the only question I have with the Reclaimer is like, what its flight ready stats would be, because we've seen it on the ground, we've seen it land right there, but we haven't really we don't know the operational stuff like what Eris is talking about with the arm and those type of things. You know, we've seen there, but we know aesthetically, as far as like the art and stuff, they're from what we've seen pretty close to done on all that aspect. Just like the mechanic part, we don't know.
Well, there's a big question for me, which is what resource do I get when I grab a person with the claw out of EVA and drop them into the hopper?
the hopper?
My question is, are you the garbage woman?
I haven't read it.
Oh, it's my best work. No, I think that the Reclaimer is going to be done relatively soon.
I would expect it 3.1, you know, at least.
Yeah.
Carrick.
Carrick they've started working on, but it's not going to be till next year.
Yeah. All right, next question. From Nikolai, who asks, so to be fun and bring it all the way back to the beginning, with the bugs and whatnot, partially to Mitt and whoever else, how would you make the chart to the chart for how to show bug amounts? And he says personally, I would like the new version better because I'd rather just have, hey, this is how many bugs. I'd rather not see critical, normal, minimal, because I see more stupid height because critical bugs vanish compared to other bugs anyways. I think the newest way that they post bugs, that's 100% what I'd do in the future.
You're talking about displaying data, and the only data I know anything about is from fucking Star Trek. So,
I'd just say as long as they put it in, if they want to show numbers, they have to just put it in context of what a goal is or what they're trying to do. If they want to do that, I just think throwing arbitrary numbers up there and saying, you know, this is it, and then we're adding in more and doing that, it's not deceptive, but I think it gives people some bad information and expectations sometimes. I like the data there. I'm not saying, you know, hey, just remove it all together, but I'm like, if it's not purposeful, if it's not like a countdown like the previous thing was to go to Evocati, if it's lost that context, then you probably need to set a different expectation for the viewer to understand, like, hey, we're at 80, we're going towards PTU, but we decided these 60 were really relevant to what we want to show you now, so we added those in. And I think even those words would make me fine with everything they're currently showing. But without them saying that, I don't like them saying, hey, it was at 90, we went to 60, we added 40. Well, 40 of those weren't created through the QA. 40 of those were like, hey, we just think we can handle these too. We'll say that, and then I think they'll be better.
Really good point.
That's it. Just put it in context. That's all they need to do. I like the numbers. Numbers are good.
It's a good point, but they shouldn't even show the bug chart, in my opinion. I mean, at this point in time, it's just it's data we don't necessarily need or have a full understanding of.
If they don't put it in context, I agree with you. I don't understand. It's like I'll just throw numbers in front of you, and they don't. You know, it's like, here's numbers. Enjoy.
But even if they give you a context,
I will be right back. Continue to discuss.
Okay, now it's time for everyone to yell as loud as they can at the top of their lungs. For as long as he's gone. No, I kind of like them having the bugs in there. I still think it should be temporary. I think that the burn down should be temporary. I'd like them to stop the burn down once 3.0 is launched and then start moving back to the more long-term goals of like, here's because they're going to be moving towards distinct dates, right? So like April, let's say we're going with quarters. Q1, April 1st, 2018, there's going to be a release. I would like them to, once 3.0 is out, move on to a system where they show, okay, here's all these things that we're working on and hoping to get in that release. Whether they get there or not, we'll find out as we get closer, but we get progress. Like, okay, so, you know, mining, hoping to get mining in. Here's the progress we've made on mining. Here's what's left on mining.
Sure.
Here's the progress we're making on this. Here's what's left on this. Here's the I'd like something like that. I like this increased amount of information. Now, keep in mind, if you don't like the increased amount of information, you can skip it. You don't need to watch the burn down. I will always ask for the most information they can possibly give. So to me, the new way they're doing the burn down with more information and splitting things up into bugs and tasks and features that have to be added, that to me is the best way they've done it yet, because I want all the information possible.
You know what might be cool though is what happens if they get like some of the punch out, like we used to call them punch outlets. I'm getting old school now, but back on the progress chart where it showed dates for like these are the different gameplay features, and we're looking at this, and then they started pulling all it back. What happens if they just said these are the knockout things? Like you can click on them, and these are like how many knockout things before this feature comes in instead of dates. I'd be cool with that too. Like
I don't want dates.
Like, I don't want dates. Give me like,
don't give us
there's
dates.
32 tasks less before mining's
coming up,
come online.
and
Stuff
just
like that. Yeah.
What's coming and what has to be fixed for it to come.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that because it puts it in context, and that's what I'm talking about. But I also agree if they're not going to do the context thing with Dizzle, I think then you don't even need the numbers. I don't think they even need to be there if they're not going to put it in relevance.
I will
at
say
least for me.
I will say, Eris, there's a sex joke in there somewhere, but I just can't find it. About what's coming and how much it needs to come.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I couldn't think about it. I just wanted to make
Fast
reference.
cart would be
Too
all
Too
over.
little, too late.
Yeah.
you just didn't. You weren't mentally present enough to finish off the cum joke.
No, was
Wait.
not.
Am I on a Chester? Am I wearing a Chesterfield?
No.
What is a Chesterfield?
This
running
is
Star
spiraling
Wars.
down real quick.
All right, we've got a couple more questions. Some. I'm going to skip some troll questions. This one's about Eris is so wrong. 10 kittens have been skinned alive. Oh, and you're very wrong, very wrong. 3.0 will hit in 2018, so suck it. That was Human Evil, and I will say that's not a question. Hayao Miyazaki asks, with Osama bin Laden having multiple hard drives full of anime, Bleach, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Advent Children, etc., as well as having a bunch of anime games, will you join me in saying that anime was a mistake?
I do believe that Power Rangers was the only anime that ever mattered.
That's a meme. Good meme, though, bro. Good memeing. I will say good memeing.
As far as hot takes go, that was like lukewarm at best.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was pretty mild for my taste of memes. I need a little more spice.
It was not a spicy meme.
What are memes?
No,
I still don't understand
memes.
memes.
No, they're just pronouncing it wrong. It's meanies.
I highly recommend Astropub shots. They make the captain's table that much more tolerable.
That's the reason why I send them out to people on the captain's
You can
table.
have a giveaway for those
You
shot
don't
glasses.
send them.
Where's mine?
Yeah, where's
I
my
give you sacrilege. Where's my
You ever think
shot
about-
glass?
Don't you have a shot
Young
glass?
Google?
No, I do not.
Okay, well I have to make another
I
batch.
don't
I will
have 6 either. I need more.
I will start drinking again, even though I'm not supposed to use them.
I will give you a pint glass because the pint glass you can use for
There's a pint glass?
it's
pint
being
glasses?
made. It's being made. Yes, the pint glasses are being made.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
I need to. Where's the Paul shop? I need links.
I need
Actually,
to actually make a shop for these things and see if I can actually
Paul,
make
I
them.
would like both so that I can make an Irish car bomb
out of Astropub
out of Astropub
glasses.
I
paraphernalia.
want a Stein.
Yeah.
A full Stein.
Have you not gotten yours yet, Athogen? I think we sent it out for you. I'll have to double check with that stuff. I may have not sent it yet. I think I had it out to send it, but it never did.
Went to get a shot glass. All I got was a stinking badge. Can't drink out of this.
Yes, you
You
can.
make a funnel.
Yeah, exactly.
Next question comes from Nikolai, who asks, so I've seen some people in different social medias bring up the weapon equipment tiers. What are your guys' thoughts on the tiers? How varied do you think these tiers will be? And if there are God mode compared to Nub class, how much more expensive do you think these weapons equipment will be? I think if you look at Elite Dangerous or even weapon tiers, I think in EVE, I don't know, I'm not too experienced with EVE. Does EVE have weapon tiers as well?
They have weapon classifications and tiers,
Like qualities?
Yeah.
Well, qualities, so not so much, but they have a kind of a balance of laser versus ballistic and all, and then size metrics too, and all that stuff. But
So Elite,
Yeah,
How
they
would
go
you
to-
guys
ammo
feel?
types, yep.
Elite
How
does
would
a
you guys
fancy.
feel if the top tier weapons weren't purchasable but only findable?
I'd be
in
fine
like
with
some
that.
sort of drop system.
Not necessarily.
Like you clear like a rebel camp and then there's like a fucking chest at the end, like a fucking looter would be.
or
That'd be the only way to find
or you
top
could
tiers.
you could purchase them from very specific NPCs, which you have to have a high enough reputation to purchase them from them. That would be fine as well.
I'd also
Similar to-
like it where to make them the best, they have to be overclocked. So
Yep.
you need people that know how to
Yes.
overclock. Make.
I like that
crafting
better than having something like
actual
legendary weapons or something. I like it where it's more tweaked because it's something you're going to lose in the game. It's something when your ship's destroyed or something, you're going to drop these things. So I'd rather have them kind of tweaked and modified rather than this is the super elite weapon of all of lore and things of that nature.
Give science vessels something to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I plan on
Weapons.
being an overclocker.
There you go.
I mean, they have talked about the Endeavor being the ship that you use for overclocking.
Yeah,
the,
super collider in it. Yeah.
which is excellent, but I actually think that weapons are one of the few things that we still really need to get more information on. I've actually been asking for more information about weapons and how they're going to work for years, because I've actually been playing Destiny now, and I'm noticing that, guess what? Destiny only actually has 5 guns. They just keep being rolled with different stats, which is honestly kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So I want to know how Star Citizen is going to do that, because they can't do it that same way.
no. So the closest example would be Elite. Elite has a very similar class system, which is you have size, and then you have quality. Now, a size 5B laser or ballistic repeater. Okay, that isn't as good as a class A, and in many cases it's worse than a class D or a class C because the class C is lighter than the B. So you're taking up weight as well as power distribution. It takes up more, it sucks more power than a C does, even though it does slightly more damage. Whereas A is a little bit is kind of the best of all worlds, but it also is it's expensive and it's a power hog. I think
and what about
power and heat is how we're going to see these things balanced.
What about that nugget Sean Tracy dropped too during the New Egg thing, where he said something about 12 different sizes now or something again? Like there's like I'm like, how many times are they gonna change the sizes of components and weapons and stuff in the game? They're driving me a little crazy with this, starting to trigger me.
Well, they haven't added them, so they have until they add them.
I know.
And then
Well, keep in mind you have those really large capital ships, so you're probably going massive scale. Start looking at a king ship and wonder what that thing's gonna have.
I want to stand in front of a railgun on a cap ship and have it fire and just see what happens.
Yeah, I hope they break it down like an Eve, where it's like actually impacts the overall system. So you could choose to put massive guns on certain types of ships with the right mounts, but it might totally inhibit the rest of the whole ship. Like you fire this thing and it just disables your ship. You got one shot, that's it. Just do kind of weird balancing things like that.
I think me and Eris just synchronized rank.
But I think that's a situation though that we're going to see later down the road in terms of the issues, because they don't want to balance. Like they just do not want to balance this until later. So until they actually start talking about finalizing balance, then that's when we'll start seeing more. Because right now no one gives a fuck about the sizes versus qualities, because they're going to change. Like you could change it and people will care about it individual patches, but that's not something you can get until you have all the weapons out and all the ships that are going to be using those weapons out and kind of all the extras, the power plants and all that kind of stuff to fully balance against each other. It's no longer just a weapon. It's now a weapon attached to a ship, which has a power plant and has coolant and all that other stuff. So
and that's great for ship weapons, but we also need balance for personal weapons as well, right?
That's
armors,
easy though, because there's no shields. There's no personal shields.
Yes.
That's the
Well, but there are droppable shields.
yeah, but droppable shields would just have HP. Yeah,
But I don't know. I wonder, like, Borderlands had an infinite number of procedurally generated.
We won't have that with Star Citizen.
I know we won't. But I also hope that we don't have something like Destiny does, where you've got the Scathe Lock auto rifle that you get at power level 10, and you get another Scathe Lock power rifle at 20, and Scathe Lock power rifle at power 100, and Scathe Lock auto rifle at 120, and Scathe Lock auto rifle at 130. It's the same fucking rifle every single fucking time. It shoots the same, it feels the same, it controls the same, it just does more damage, and it's an arbitrary fucking damage number.
I don't think you have to worry about that, especially since, in Destiny they tie it really to your level and reissuing weapons and stuff, and we don't have that in Star Citizen.
No.
And they already show a huge amount of art and differences and changes and stuff with all the weapon context.
They have, and I'm not as worried about it, but I feel like it's one of the few things that we haven't heard about. Because they have talked about how there's going to be like this search for legendary weapons that, this weird Xion super weapon that exists somewhere in the verse that you can get. But we haven't heard much beyond that about normal weapons that, all of us are going to have. So I want to know more about that.
Yeah. I want to break into a military black site and steal some cool shit.
Yeah. But what are you going to steal? Are you going to steal some cool shit, or are you going to steal a Scathe Lock power 145?
No. Where my power is, it'd be a Scathe Lock power 265.
Okay, but that's also why Destiny.
So I just melted a 267 Scathe Lock.
Yeah, and that's why Destiny 2 will last as long until they come out with Destiny 3, and Star Citizen will be more of a persistent game that will go on for that. Because they can always erase, like when you do iterative build games like Destiny, you can erase all your mistakes and say, hey, let's not do that next time.
Yeah.
But Star Citizen is a little bit, more persistent.
I just want to know more about how they're doing it.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be good to know.
All right. Next question comes from Nikolai, who asks, random question from Facebook, Saber or Hornet? And the answer is Hornet.
Saber.
Dyson?
Saber, more maneuverable.
Rockies?
Aurora. I can hug better with it.
Fuck your question! Citizen.
The question was Saber or Hornet, right?
Yes.
Hornet.
Hornet.
Super Hornet.
Itachi?
But if it's a regular Hornet,
I was going to say, is it regular or super? Was going to be my
just
question
Hornet.
back.
So.
Oh, Saber.
Saber.
Fuck your Hornet.
Yeah,
Gonna go into combat in a fucking Kia?
I'll caveat that with I absolutely hate the Super Hornet, but it is the meta and it kicks everybody's ass. So why not have one?
I just like the Super Hornet.
Because the Hornet is, where is it? Hang on one second.
It's a spaceship.
It's the 5th worst ship in Star Citizen, the Hornet.
Yeah.
According to what metrics?
Mine.
Can I
post things?
You should be able to, yeah.
Yep, posted.
Nope.
He's all according to relay.sc,
hates me.
It's the 5th.
Bouncerbot's got you now. You're good.
Cool.
All right.
Eris rates ships because Hornet is the 5th worst ship in Star Citizen. Because.
Next question comes from Headclot, who asks, what is Reddit? Rockies, what is Reddit?
Never seen a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Great band.
Shit, you must not date around in the same circles as I do.
There you go.
Nikolai asks...
And spicy memes.
Yes, the spiciest of memes. They have the spicy ones.
That's
Go to the spicy meme house. That's where you get the spiciest.
That's where Dolbach was born.
Is the spicy meme house?
Yeah, it explains a lot.
It explains a lot.
Dolbach would be born there.
Comrade Headclock, or Nikolai says... Comrade Headclock has forced me to ask more questions. So with the Star Citizen sale coming up, is anyone buying anything? And what are you buying? I'm not buying anything.
If I can melt my 600i for something that I prefer to a 600i, then I'm doing that. As to spending real money, no. Honestly, CIG is not getting another penny of real money, period, from me.
Yeah. Dyson?
Oh, probably nothing. Much unless they come out with something amazing like Titan armor. Just saying.
CIG, please. Rockies, how about you?
I'm buying spinal surgery.
So no. Unless CIG has become a spinal surgeon. C-Dizzle.
Yeah, unless something like super crazy cool comes out. I don't give a fuck about anything that's already for sale.
How about you, Mitachi?
I'm a realist. I'll probably spend a lot of money.
I will caveat. How about for your personal fleet?
For my personal stuff, what I'll do is if for the anniversary sale, I will melt everything I purchased on the old anniversary sale, so I get 1 more year of insurance and rebuy it all. Yeah. I do it every year, so what's going to change this year?
All right. Next question comes from Swag Buckbot, who asks, do you want swag bucks? Learn how to make $1,000 a week. These are quick and easy. Watch videos, take surveys, shop and more to earn real money.
Guys, I earn $1,000 a week. It's called having a fucking job.
Shit, man, I wish I made $1,000 a week.
I don't make $1,000 a week. Oh my god, $1,000 a week would be amazing.
I make about 7.
Apparently, I'm on the wrong porn site.
I was a good engineer.
I'm close.
I mean, with the value of the Canadian dollar, I imagine
Actually,
$1,000
no,
a
I
week
make
probably isn't
about-
that much.
Okay, so wait, hang on. If I convert to American, I make about 12 cents a week.
Sounds about right. Sounds about good, right, for the Canadian
10
conversion.
times Mexico pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you really expect any of the world to take your currency seriously when you call them loonies and toonies?
Do you guys expect the world to take your currency seriously when it's all fucking green?
Yeah, because it's not
Hey,
fucking
here's
monopoly
my green
money.
money.
Our money isn't fucking
It's green,
scented.
It spins.
Why the fuck do you have scented currency?
Because that's a security measure.
Because
We care about our security and we don't allow it to be stolen by corporations.
Did
Touche.
Canadians
That was a
cares
really
about his
weird-
security?
Except you do.
Tangent.
Yes. All right.
We do.
Headclot asks,
Sorry.
Wow.
do you think that Squadron 42
Talk to
will
us
have
when we
VR
do
support?
caps.
No, I don't think Squadron 42 will have VR support
VR support won't work in Star Citizen for a long
for
time.
Squadron 42.
Or honestly for Star Citizen.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
fucking
going to
hope
work
so.
for
It's
a
a
while.
single like if they did, it would be vomit inducing. Because I've played games
Yep.
like From Other Suns is a very good example. You move with your sticks on the on your kind of your controllers, the wireless controllers that Oculus has. You move with your sticks rather than like the jump movement, and it feels after a bit it can get really nauseating trying to move with the sticks
Yo,
and
man,
like move your body.
Straight up, VR is so fucking cool. Put me on the Star Citizen weight loss plan, and I'll fucking throw up everything I fucking eat. Just to see what I mean VR.
I've been saying this for a while now. Star Citizen could actually do really fantastic VR if at some point its graphics are processable in VR. But the only way it would work really is in ships. When you sit down at your console in a ship, you put on your VR headset. When you get out of your console in the ship, you take off your VR headset. Because running around, you can't teleport in Star Citizen.
If you get one of those new...
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
If you
we're
get the
literally-
full set, you can run.
I
That
te-
would be fine.
I
But
forgot. I technically have one of those.
really,
And think
Yeah.
of how much weight we
That's
could
cool.
lose exercising.
My
by running
friend's
in
dad
VR.
won 2 of them somehow. And
do you want to like send me one up to Canada and pay
I-
for
I-
like $800 of shipping for it?
I would look
Deal.
for VR to come
Sweet.
into the next iteration of Squadron 42, not this one. The next
Squadron 42
next
episode
game.
2, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Episode
I
2
think
is
we'll
just
see.
like-
I think when we
Kinda
see the
waste
new
the resources.
generations, I see when we think when we see the new generation of VR, things like the Oculus
Yes.
Go and those kind of things as they're coming out, which are wireless and completely standalone. You don't need a computer. We might see CIG be able to port some of their Sport Squadron 42 into one of those, maybe. But I don't think it's a priority right now. The priority is to get better. So.
fucking Meyer.
Just gonna say it's a waste
that's
of
great.
Myers
resources
say.
because how many people own VR?
With fucking Myers here.
He says new
Vive
partnerships
for the
with Oculus
win.
are introduced into variant teleporters for VR.
Meyer, you need to put a hashtag ad on there because you are actually partnered with
Yeah,
Oculus.
hashtag sponsor.
Why would you partner with Oculus? They have no soul.
Wait, he's
Oh.
partnered with
Oh wait, no,
yeah,
it's Meyer.
him and Meyer and Board are both partnered with Oculus.
Yep.
Why?
Oculus
Not
have no
Vive?
soul.
Oh.
They also got free.
Board
I think they
gaming.
got free VR sets by doing that as well.
Is it worth it? Is it actually worth it to sell your soul for free Oculus things?
If someone wants to
can-
buy
like
something of me
I can
that doesn't
understand
even
something
exist in the
free
first
from, like,
place,
I own an Oculus and I like it.
If you like it, why not?
It's comfortable.
I wanna
I,
Vive.
yeah, I have an
I'm a
HTC
partner.
Vive and I love that. If
I,
they were
I
like,
will say
"Hey,
I will say the Vive. I've tried them
see this,
both.
You never
and-
stream, but do you want to be sponsored?
I'm like,
Uh,
if you're a content creator and you have a item that you really love, a peripheral you really love, and you like to use, and you get sponsored by them, I say go for it.
Yeah.
My only problem with Oculus is the closed system. It's
I
the
don't-
wrong way to.
I don't think. Yeah,
VR. It
I
doesn't-
agree. But at the same time, the
VR is a struggling industry.
Yeah, it's bad for the industry, I'll agree
One
with
of the
that.
major thing, like one of the major players in VR, closing their system to all others and closing their games to all others. And it's not even like I would pay Oculus for their fucking games, but they won't even let you. You can't buy it on theirs and play it on Vive. You have to buy it on Oculus. That is genuinely detrimental to VR as an industry, and as a struggling industry, it needs that to be open. So fuck Oculus in the end.
But they're just following traditional console business.
It's the same kind of business tech has been in
I'm not disagreeing with Eris at all. I agree with him 100%.
But the thing is that Vive that was going to do the same thing because it's owned by fucking who is it?
Steam.
Valve.
HTC.
It's owned by Valve and HTC. And let's be honest here. Valve is a fucking money whore. They ask for nothing but money, and they shovel money.
But it is all open now.
It is all open. This podcast are not sponsored in any way, shape,
by MANCHACA.
or any future sponsorship deals. So.
All the Vive games are open. They can be played on an Oculus. It's all open. It's only Oculus right now that is closed. So I don't. There
are some games that they've done that, but that was developer choice, not Vive. All right, let's move on to the next question.
Sorry.
Next question is Headclout. Why did Reddit flip out over that CIG employee's shirt? Is it because Full Metal Alchemist sucks? Yes. No. Wait. Which one?
Whoa! Calm the fuck down with that shit, you heretic motherfucker!
Hold the shit up.
Wait. It's
one of the top-rated animes.
Which one though? Which one? Because you're talking about Brotherhood or the original?
They're both good.
Okay, but a bit
Brotherhood's better.
Brotherhood was excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had problems with the first one, but
Fusion Ha.
Yeah. Next question comes from, I have no idea what that was. A golden ticket normie asks, I backed SC during the Kickstarter, but I haven't been able to play it. Does it make me a normie? No, it makes you a backer. The reason why I used the term normie was in terms of the general population outside of Star Citizen backers are very different types of players and different types of gamers than your typical Star Citizen backer.
If you're a solely console gamer, you're a fucking normie.
Yeah. If
this context,
if you play nothing, if you have a PC but you play nothing but PUBG and Call of Duty, you would be kind of a normie because you pick up the popular games and play them. And Star Citizen will reach a point where that will happen, where people who aren't used to space games and are more part of the general audience of gaming will come into Star Citizen.
Shit on them so hard.
We are. But
not me. I'm fucking trash.
You actually have experience in the game. That's the difference. Even some experience is better than I've never picked up a controller before.
I'm just having flashbacks of EVE Online when there was an elite upper class of beta testers, and then a whole bunch of regular people came into the game, and it developed this huge war, and basically that would form Goon Swarm, and I'm
having
flashbacks right now.
My point of that is not to create an elitist attitude. My point was that there are going to be people who are different mindset when they come into a game. Whereas most people who are backing the game early are backing the game for the experience of backing the game early. People who are backing the game when it's out or it's close to being out, they're buying it because Eris is a moose. Don't make lightning strike twice. Lightning can't strike twice. It was bad, Eris.
Lightning always strikes twice.
Try anyway.
But my point was that they're going to come in with a completely different attitude. So when it comes to Star Citizen, they're going to look at the Star Citizen as a game to play, not as a idea, and that will have a completely different play style than your average person.
Yes.
So, yeah. Anyways, next, but if you back the game, you're part of us crazy people.
Age of Star Citizen, there was a huge influx.
I just look forward to casting and/or coaching or both. Star Citizen tournaments in esports scene.
Oh yeah,
eventually.
We're kind
looking
of
forward to the casting couch.
I gave you a chance to plug
the Star Citizen. Okay, well let me plug that. Well, for those of you guys who are interested in esports in Star Citizen, you can check out the Star Citizen Competitive Combat League at twitch.tv/StarCitizenCCC. We call ourselves the SC4, and we're going to be doing our next tournament sometime in December, hopefully when 3.0 comes out. So yeah, we do Arena Commander and Star Marine. It's really cool. It's really intense. It actually gets really intense. Matachi is one of the casters for it. He does the game calling for Star Marine, and Grokkies does the booth for both Star Marine and Arena Commander. So.
Can I get a hashtag ad in the chat?
Man, fuck you, dude.
I
own that Twitch. All right.
I didn't get paid nothing for that.
Yeah.
It's just pure joy doing it.
Also, it was fun to watching you and Texas Skull scream, which was nice because Meyer and Fairasult are our Arena Commander commentators, and when they commentate, they're like, "Oh, and here comes the next challenger," and he is swiftly defeated.
I have to say,
that is good job, good show. Whereas, like, I do miss Texas. Where you and Texas were like, "Oh, he took a shotgun to the face." Oh, that's like,
and there he is. He's
yeah.
So high.
It's so it's the difference between American commenting and like Commonwealth
golf.
commenting. Yeah.
We need to get some Canadian commenting up in there. Holy shit! I'm sorry.
Oh.
Hey, he scored a goal, don't you know?
Hey, look at that nice play. What?
Next question comes from the Ghost of Billy Mays, who asks, "When will we get capital ship combat in SE?" The official term was when they can get when they can spawn two Idrises together and that are fully crewed in the same place. So close
with fighters.
So close, but not quite there yet.
Well, the Ghost of Billy Mays, you can get that for just $19.99.
I need someone's Idris and a whole bunch of people that have dragonflies, because I'm going to broadcast over damn comms whenever that Idris shows up. Carrier has arrived. And just swarm out.
I was expecting Blood of the Valkyries to be played, but yeah, you know.
It's just going to be a fucking swarm. That bay is big enough to hold a fuck ton of dragonflies. Mm-hmm. And all of them are size 1 weapons at different placements. They could actually do damage.
Just have the guys in the back with railguns just firing at the thing as they fly by.
I want to see that now.
Yeah.
And then the server crashes.
Yes.
That's what I do best.
My mission in life is to make servers.
Yeah. Next question comes from Gundam Citizen, who asks, "What do you think about the quantum travel upgrade?" I think we already discussed that. We liked it, but feel like it's kind of a waste of time. A lot of us feel like it was a waste of time and effort.
Still awesome.
It's awesome.
Waste of time right now.
Right now.
Yes, right now.
Fantastic right now. Right time to do it.
Next question comes from Headclot, who asks, "Has CIG confirmed that the Aurora will go up in price due to the rework?" No. Neither. I don't think they can. Either of them.
Why would they? Seriously.
The Aurora is going to stay the same price until they raise the base price of the game, which admittedly I think that they will probably do when they announce Squadron 42. When they're like, "Okay, guys, Squadron 42 is coming out here. At this date, it's going to go up to $60.
Yeah. So
you buy before then, you get the discount. If you buy after it's launched, it is now full price.
I anticipate another kind of Valentine's Day thing where they're like, "Hey, you have a month from this date to purchase your ships at this price. Otherwise, they're going up after this. Do not bitch after this." Next question comes from Tipsy Tavarin. From Headcloud again, who asks, "How do you think Quantum Interdictor are going to work? Do you think that EMP ships such as the Warlock or the Raven will play a major role in interdiction?" No. I think you're going to have ships with specific...
If you're looking for the chain CC, maybe. But like,
they'll be working.
It's not going to be an important part.
Do you know Freelancer?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah, because I liked kind of how Freelancer worked it, where things just got pulled out of the lanes. Mm-hmm. Now, we're not really going to have those lanes in Star Citizen, but I think it's going to be kind of the same idea of you set your interdiction web up, kind of like in Firefly, where there's that one episode where there's the giant circular that's going to be the kind of thing that you set up yourself, being like, there's probably going to be someone quantuming between Earth and Jupiter. This is the fastest travel direction. I shouldn't have looked at chat. This is a wizard's cloak, apparently. Anyway, I think it's going to be the kind of you set up your web and people fly through it and get interdicted.
Well,
I think it's going to be ship positioning, because a physical object in the path of something in quantum will pull it out of quantum. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they would wipe everything out.
Well, the thing is,
online mechanics. That's it.
if you have an interdiction module like that, it's going to take a lot of skill, especially as it's going to put emphasis on your scouting beforehand, your sensors. So it's not going to be something any one person will be able to successfully pull off easily. It'll be something that you need a village to pull off.
I expect something like quantum interdictors to be kind of like an item that you buy, kind of like a mine that you do. Because one of the things they did talk about before was having systems that would be blockaded by actual events. And I imagine quantum interdictors be a thing.
Can you guys imagine it being an item that you set up and you go to a trade lane and you're like, yes, this is where I'm going to set it up. And you set up your interdiction thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're sitting there in your cutlass. You're like, yeah, I'm going to take out this Aurora freelancer that comes through. And it just shows up.
But I really,
well, that's why you do scouting. Because otherwise you get that.
Though, to see multiple types, though, like in Eve, they have a physical one you can set up as a warp bubble.
Yeah. And
they also have direct points where you have to have so many strength points. Like a small fighter could fit this weapon on there, but you can only point like small fighters.
Yeah.
Right? It takes several small fighters to hit a capital or something like that. And that gives you an opportunity for the capital to align, try to hit that curve of 88 miles an hour to try to go.
Yeah.
You have to fend off the fighters with your turrets in order to hit that quantum drive.
Yeah.
I want to see that type of game.
I kind of like the ability of someone in the middle of that to be like, you shall not pass!
Yeah.
Yep. And there's different types of ships in Eve. There's probably about a half dozen that are like different races, different classes that all have different types of interdiction.
It would also make sense for the blockade runner role that the Band Immersion is supposed to have. Where it gets pulled out of it gets pulled out of quantum and it just like fuck you and just hits its afterburners and goes and nothing can catch it. You know.
Yep.
That would make sense.
Special type interdiction only for that ship.
Yeah.
Like there's only one type. Like regular ones won't work, or it takes several ships combined to interdict that type of ship. So that way, it actually roll bonus actually means something.
Alrighty. Next question comes from Tipsy Tavaran, who asks, when is Star Citizen finally released and the Astropub is an actual spacefaring tavern, what will be the name of the signature drink be there, and why is it the Shelley Temple? Scree! It will be called the Shelley Temple, but it will not be like a Shirley Temple. It will be a Shirley Temple with like Tavaran whiskey and Xeon with vodka and Vandul like blood milk or whatever.
And a little of my special dust.
Just a little bit of Heisendrake's special dust because Grocky's is Heisendrake.
Would Vandul blood milk be like? Would it glow?
Yes. Yes. It would end up being like a glow in the dark drink that you take, like you drink it like as a shot, and you basically like
and you see it go down.
Yeah, and you just kind of like pass out and spasm on the floor for a couple minutes, and everyone's like, "Yay!" And then you wake up a couple minutes later and be like, "Wow, I just saw God. Can I have another shot?" You know, that kind of stuff, and that's just how it works.
Vandul blood's a hell of a drug.
Yep.
So now we have Vandul hunters just for their blood.
Yes.
Can I do a real quick shout out, Paul?
Sure.
Somebody who's never going to see this, my grandma sent me a birthday card. So, so she just stopped by and gave it to me and my wife.
Damn it, why'd you have to go and do something sweet on this show?
I know, right? It's awesome, though. It's like that, and she even put money in it, too. Like, you know, I'm still 12, so it was awesome. So thank you, Grandma. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Matachi's grandma.
Yeah.
Joe's Got More asks, question, Nubify put a video out on atmospheric flight. His point was that the flight mechanics we have seen so far are close to how they would be in the game. Do you think this is good or bad? Should they add more of difficulty instead of allowing hover to appear to be automated by IFCS, I'm guessing you're trying to say.
Now let's just go back to the 2-5 flight model and fuck everything else.
Hover makes sense because some of these ships are going to need to be able to take off from higher gravity planets, and they're not designed to fly in atmosphere. If they can't land and take off, then they can't land and take off. And if half the ships in the game, or 90% of the ships in the game, couldn't land and take off, people would lose their fucking minds. So they're going to have to make some sort of adjustments.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
No.
Does anyone else want a ship that launches vertically? like a shuttle where you're like back in the
Yes.
seat and you
Yes.
watch straight up. Does anyone else want that in game?
Like a retro ship.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
sort of like having a classic car. Yes.
Yes.
That'd be interesting.
I think that would be the first quantum ship. The what do you call it?
The Zeus, the RSI Zeus.
Zeus.
Yeah. I think that maybe that one's like that.
So it'd be like
I
at the end
was-
of Fast and Furious, where you like got the new shiny fast car, and then you got the old fucking muscle car that still fucking does wheelies.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have people turning them for racing into sleepers and just
Yeah.
souping it up. And we're like, hey,
That's a Zeus. Yeah, now we can beat the
I'd
shit
like
out
to
of
see
you.
drop pods and then also pods that launch like people up into space for retrieval. Too.
Well, they actually have
Like there's a
in game. I
single
believe they're
burn
called
entry like that,
nails.
like that.
That's what they're called, or something like that. In game, like in game lore, where the drop pods you drop
Mm-hmm.
from space. So
Yep. I really hope they have something like that. That'd be amazing.
I think you can put them in the Retaliator.
Yeah. You could
Yeah,
extract
yeah,
that
right.
way, like you could get like spec ops off the atmosphere that way. They just shoot straight up, and you're just floating there like
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars type shuttle thing, like escape pod. Or you could land with drop pods like that. That'd be great.
I honestly
And-
wouldn't be surprised if there were some planets like the ones that only have a few actual landing zones.
Mhm.
If they're like, fuck it, that's way too hard. You just have to take a fucking landing ship.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Special entry like ships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like to Earth.
Like, or the
so-
atmosphere is just too volatile for the average spaceship or some
Mhm.
shit like that.
Yeah, you can't get through it with anything but that type of ship or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Big Double D asks, do you think Star Citizen will repeat the Saber Raven with Intel with a promotional sale with another ship?
Yes.
Yes, it's worked well.
Sure.
Yep.
He's worked well with two companies, AMD and Intel. So why not
As long
continue?
as they don't re-release the Saber Raven or re-release the promotional ship, I support that idea.
Hang on. There's
The
one thing
edition
we
stuff.
still need. There's one thing we still need for the Saber Raven, which is the inverse explanation for Intel existing. Because AMD provided an inverse explanation for why they exist, and CIG did at the time say that they would allow other companies to do this if they provided a reason for the
Intel
company.
still makes processors.
That's fine, but we need that inverse explanation for why
Yeah, like
Intel.
You're just saying
is a
we need it in canon.
Yeah.
Yes, we need the
I need some
in-canon
optical
Intel.
drives for my Herald.
Yeah.
I'll
They got
pay
enough
for the
writers.
Herald.
Intel makes the double computer system on there. There you go.
Fine. That would be acceptable. We do need that, and we should have that for any sponsorship. Sponsorship. Sponsorship.
No,
Well, one
no.
question I had about the Raven is, can we just take those EMP generators and put them in a regular missile base somewhere else? Because then we don't lose weapons.
All right, this is actually a really good question from Joe Scott Moore. He asks, does theory crafting help or hurt Star Citizen? Are we overhyping ourselves too much, or does the hype keep interest growing?
Both.
Both.
It depends on the theory crafting and how it's used. It's a tool just like anything else.
I think more than likely there's plenty of examples of theory crafting that's been done by the community that CIG said, that's a pretty good idea, let's do that, which has added some cool aspects to the game, which help change things around. I think that's probably the legacy, but the problem is that the second that happened, everyone and their mother thought that their idea was perfect and that CIG would pick theirs, so everyone's idea just... Like, theory crafting is kind of like buttholes. Everyone thinks that doesn't stink, but it does in some way, shape, or form. None of us are developers, and even those of us who are developers, I'm sure even in CIG, developers will pitch an idea like, this is a great idea, and the rest of the team's like, no, it's a fucking terrible idea. Never say that again.
It happens.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
the thing
a
with
lot of
theory
work going
crafting,
into making a good idea happen.
I before you go on, I do want to tell a story about the dinosaurs with collars, because this is a good example of theory crafting. My mother used to work for. She owned her own market research company, and she helped work with a bunch of games companies in the early days of Silicon Valley. Like, she went to the very first E3 and to the very first early E3s when there were actual, like, not booth babes, but like a bunch of nerds setting up, like EA and Microsoft setting up to try to talk to reporters and so on and so forth when it was actually like a convention.
Back when people liked video games and not just the money.
Yeah. And she worked with a company where one of the guys came up to her and she actually asked me about this because I was in the demographic. They had the rights to a Jurassic Park game, and one of the guys had an idea that you would have good dinosaurs and bad dinosaurs, and the only way to tell the difference between the good dinosaurs and the bad dinosaurs, this was in the mid-90s, mind you, was the color of their collars, blue or red.
So like mushrooms.
Kind of, but their collars in a 90s game.
That's
How do you even see
Wow.
that?
Yes,
Yes.
and my mother came to me afterwards and said, "This is the idea that was spun to me. Is this a good idea?" And I said, "That's a fucking stupid idea." And she was like, "Good. I thought it was a stupid idea too." But so it's like even theory crafter and even kind of ideas among game developers. There's some bad fucking ideas that come out. So yeah. Anyways, continue. Dyson, you were talking about theory crafting.
Well, as theory crafting and just saying this is what our channel, makes its living more or less off of. The big thing is not building necessarily hype, but taking information that is physically out there and confirmed and then melding it into something nice, or taking in different things that they've said. So basically educated guesses, actual theories, not, hey, this would be nice, or so-and-so said this, but there's no other backing up data for that.
It's actually like we do it as well, and it's something that's really interesting about Star Citizen is the amount of theory crafting that you can do based on reliable data, because there's so much information that comes out and has come out. We've got 5 years of weekly data dumps to mine for like, oh, back in 2015 they were talking about this. I wonder how this relates to this, and if these two things relate together, then this. It's excellent, right? Like you can expand and you can theorize, but still be within the realm of possibility, I guess.
Yeah. Next question comes from CH Wheel, who asks, pizza or Chinese? Pizza.
Pizza. Actually,
Chinese.
I don't have a good pizza
Good
place
Chinese.
near me.
Well, good pizza or Chinese, or good Chinese.
Good Chinese. More
I've got
variety.
excellent Chinese, no pizza. I actually have tried 3 pizza joints near me, and all of them are like 1 or 2 out of 5, and I'm having an actual existential crisis.
Dyson, pizza or Chinese?
Pizza, hands down.
T-Dizzle, pizza or Chinese?
Fuck you, keto. I can only say Chinese. Or it would be pizza.
You can eat Chinese food and under keto? They just can't have any of
Yeah,
the...
you can have no
I-
carbs,
yeah.
just meat and veg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just eat the meat and vegetables.
Matachi?
Throw away.
Oh man, that's hard.
There is
I'd
keto
say
pizza, by the way.
I'd probably go
I
with
ain't making nothing, I'm
Chinese
too lazy.
over good pizza.
For good pizza? Or over good pizza? Okay.
Good Chinese over good pizza. In my area, though, it's definitely pizza over Chinese.
Yeah, ironically, in my area, I think I'd have to choose Chinese over pizza. I'd prefer good Chinese or good pizza over good Chinese, but there's not good pizza out here. It's the only one drawback. There's okay pizza. There's passable pizza. There's like, it's worth the price, but you don't have like, you sit there and go, oh my God, this is the best pizza I've had in X number of years. It just doesn't exist. Mudfuck asks, how do you feel about CIG making all concept ships warbond only? They need to make money. That's how they make money. Deal with
Yeah.
it.
Money
I'm
is
okay with
important.
this.
Yeah. They still...
I'd actually-
Ships is one thing, but war bonds are necessary.
And then
I'd be okay. Sorry.
Don't they actually? Can't you still melt ships to get non-war bonds? Or just less expensive, or more expensive?
Yeah.
It's more expensive. Yep.
It is more expensive.
I would actually be okay if they got rid of that, in that like they set a date, let's say 4.0, and by 4.0 there will be no more melting. Get your ships that you want,
Get
and
your
after
ships
that,
together.
get your ships together.
Well, before they do that, the big thing they really need to do is at least make them all the ships available for a period of time. So
Yes.
with the accurate ship page, so I am not locked into something that's like, well, this is not going to be good.
Yeah. But I'd like them to, at some point, stop the ability to just buy whatever the fuck you want.
They've spoiled us too much up to this
Yeah.
point, I think. And I think at some point it has to end. And people need to keep in mind, because I've heard a lot of people bitch about the war bond thing. Recycling your ships for credit does not make them any money.
Nope.
I'm just saying, it's not going to be a good business practice for them to allow that.
I never understood it in the first
Because
place.
95% of the ship sales are like people recycling shit. Because I do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
But then again, information on these ships changes all the time. Take all the people who bought those Vanguards.
yeah, and I agree. I think there needs to be a date where they cut it off, but there also has to be closer to beta when features and development are at least pseudo locked, right? Like we know this is they might tweak this, dynamically change all the weapon sizes on it. They're not going to dynamically change crew counts. They have to have some sort of firming of what the stats of a ship are going to be for you to make a permanent decision on it, and that's just what has to happen. But until you have the ecosystem of the game more developed towards beta and the game mechanics in, how do you as a player make that final decision? It's really hard.
All right, so I'm going to do this for do a 5-minute raffle right here for this. The raffle item is going to be a, what is it called? The Custodian. SMG. The keyword is, there we go, Sweeper. And also, if you get exclamation point call to arms in chat, you'll get a link to donations.
Get those donations in, guys.
We are also running a donation for StackUp.org, which is a veterans and active duty service personnel charity. So far, I think we've raised close to $400, if not close to $500. So
I put in 20 at the beginning of the podcast.
I put in 20 as well at the beginning of the podcast.
So, and if we reach 500 before the end of the stream, I'll give away a package, and we're getting close to the end of the stream. That's the reason why I bring it up. So, exclamation point, call to arms. All right, here we go. Start it. Waffles?
Waffles.
Cataphor asks, would you like to see missions where you fight environmental hazards? Like the Sand War.
Yes.
Maybe the military have quarantine on a planet, but you can go get a mission to go down there. Would be similar to an instance, or would you only want
one of the things that really
PvP? Of course, you're going to have PvE. My point of saying PvP was that PvP exists. You know.
One of the things that really excited me back in like bloody 2012 was when they announced a special, like a stretch goal being outfit, which was a radiation suit. The idea that the environment mattered as well was like, holy shit, that's fucking awesome. So yeah, no, I want there to be planets that there are actually no dangerous life on, but you'll get radiation the shit out of if you're not wearing a specific, suit. If you're just showing up there in light armor, guess what? You're fucking dead.
Kind of a la Fallout 4 with the glowing sea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Also gives reason for the special armor, like explorer armor, instead of running around with medium armor. You'd be like, well, this makes more sense, medium armor. No.
Heavy armor right now makes the most sense because guess what? You don't die as fast.
Yeah.
But once you have things like environmental hazards like solar flares or radiation on planets or who knows what else, maybe
natives.
Yeah.
Get near that
You need to get out of those trousers really fast to take advantage.
Tearaway pants. We need that in the game.
If I don't get some Adidas tearaways, fucking refund.
Literally unplayable.
Banned.
Okay, so but my point when I said something like PvE exists in the games, the PvP exists in games. So does PvE. PvE is a very important part of having a PvP game as well, because otherwise it would just be boring. You need to have some people to train against.
I'd argue that PvE is actually more important than PvP.
I would say for 90% of the people there. But
if you make the player base of your entire game universe only like 10% human, like actual players, then it has to be PvE based.
Yeah. No, 100%.
PvE is more important than PvP when it comes to Star Citizen, because those are the numbers.
I don't agree with that because I think most of the player base right now entertains itself by engaging in PvP.
Yes,
We're definitely
but there's also not much of a game yet.
That's right, but there's thousands of us playing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
thousands of millions, 1 in 10.
Thousands with PvE.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing against that. I think there will be, but I think PvP is just as important.
You need,
No.
I think balancing it towards PvP and then having it mostly PvE focused, similar to how Destiny 2 did it, which there's a lot of people who complain about Destiny 2, but its balances really well in terms of how it's balanced.
Because as a PvP player, I realize the essential importance of PvE. You have to have it in game.
Yeah.
It's not something I'm super engaged in, or I want to do missions and do some of those other things, but I'm more about the PvP aspect. I like that gameplay more.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Next question comes from Mayonnaise15, who asks, would you or rather fight the UE Navy or Vandal with your organization? The Vandal. Just because the UE Navy is going to bring players along with it, because players will eventually show up to try to support the UE Navy. There may be some players, organizations that'll support the Vandal, but the Vandal will actually attack them, not help them.
Yeah.
Well, depends on if you get good rep with them
reputation
somehow.
And just
Maybe.
by what the UE force is supposed to be, it has to be an unbeatable force, or
At
the
some
players
level,
would
yes,
just,
for sure.
or the player actual players would just force fuck the UE.
Mm-hmm. Also, CH Wheel had it as the perfect one. You need a balance focused on PvP with content focused on PvE. I think that's the best way of putting it.
PvP needs to be balanced. Everyone needs to be able to compete.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes.
when you're not competing PvP, there has to be shit to do, and that's PvE.
Mm-hmm.
So for all the people that don't like PvP, for all the rest of the world, and for the people that like PvP, but guess what? There's no one to play right now. You need PvE. So they're
I got a question for Aris. Do you consider trading PvE or PvP?
I consider it. Okay, wait. Are we talking specifically in the Star Citizen context?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't consider Star Citizen to have a definite either, because it could be PvE, it could be PvP. I consider trading to be a risk, and the risk is you might get attacked, and you don't know if you're going to get attacked by a PvE or a PvP, and that shouldn't matter. Both of them have to be balanced equally, but there has to be stuff to do based on PvE. And in this case, I consider PvE to include the P, right? It's player versus everyone rather than player versus environment.
See, I look at trading and competing against other players even without weapons as PvP. Like, even if you're doing something economic, sociable, or all that stuff, it's still competitive. So if you're competing against other players for a certain task, I consider that competitive player versus player game.
But even PvE is PvP.
Yeah.
Because you are competing for limited resources or for particular things.
Yes.
So even if it's an environment that you're going for, like the Vandal, tagging the Vandal would be very profitable with an organization because you get Vandal ships. If you can disable some, you turn around and you sell those. That's limited
players,
resource.
Or if you're
I
racing
suppose
to get a contract for, if you're two traders and you're both players and you're trying to get a contract from an NPC and this guy gets it first, he's being competitive against you and doing that. Now, he might decide to blow you up to do it, or he could just be faster and be there and be more efficient. So that's
PvP
that's still
elements
competitive,
based on PvE content.
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's everyone against everyone, regardless of whether you're a player or you're an AI.
Yeah.
Like it's,
That's what
but
Ryan
it,
called it, right? PvPvE. That's what
yeah, that's how it has to be balanced.
Or
Yes.
PvA,
But it should-
person versus all,
Yep.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, PvA.
And it's
Yeah.
not new ground either. Like that's what MOBAs are.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Next question
You have to have the environments.
comes from Joe Scottmore, who asks, with all the procedural tech, what other things should they apply it to, i.e. healing? Should they apply it to, i.e. healing a fallen crewman? Like if I think he's saying something like if your crewman's going to be like injured, that you heal them, then they procedurally like their wounds will be procedurally generated based off the blasts and like they heal up. I think that's a waste of energy and time.
They've talked about that though, right? They've talked a little bit about that, but it's not something I think they're heavy into. They've made some concepts on it, but they're not actively worried about that right now. There's a lot more important.
I mean, fidelity's cool and all, but I don't need to tell if my crewmate has a fucking ingrown hair on his face.
Yeah.
What?
But
That
what if
is
you're doing
important
medical? That could lead
knowledge.
to an infection.
Yeah, that requires immediate medical attention, man.
No, but I at the same time I do get the aesthetics, especially people RP. If you were like in a big battle and you have burn marks in your face, it adds to your character. It adds those things for those people, and that's cool. But again, that's like backtabled like VR to me. That's like something that small group of people within the community are super hyped for, and it's not needed before things like mining and trading and cargo and all these other things. Yeah, you need a lot of these different gameplay elements to set the stage for that stuff.
Okay, so there's two questions that are trolly. One is who's the guy sitting at 12 o'clock and why hasn't he said anything forever? He does say things. He just when he says some things are important. Dyson just says important things.
He has this thing called gravitas. And he waits he's like an eagle poised on the top of a mountain, ready to swoop down and grab the truth in his claws and
talons.
I don't think Canadians can hold their liquor, man.
Just to answer his question, don't talk unless you have something actually important to say.
There we go.
Ouch!
When he has something to say.
And then
I always have something to say, man.
Astro
It's hard being
Aussie,
Canadian. I'm sorry.
the Aussie Astro has CIG confirmed Atherton as official Australian CIG employee. It was a great picture. He actually took a video of Atherton from the captain's table like 2 weeks ago, two or three cables ago, and posted it on one of their Skype channels, which was brilliant. It was great. You should go check it out if you haven't had a chance to. You can link it, Aussie, if you're still here. It's fantastic. Then the postman asks, isn't Matachi's grandma sweet sending that physical email? Do you think that there'll be physical player-to-player mail using NPCs as a proxy? Should be a thing.
Dude, I hope they're singing telegrams in Star Citizen. Like,
it's called
NPC comes up like.
That would be really cool, actually.
I'm going to set up a singing telegram business now.
That's what the Herald is, though.
No, it is. It sends data from point A to point B, yeah.
Dude, I would pay you for that service. Can you imagine it coming in and be like, Matachi's coming to kill you?
It's going to be interesting to see how they actually implement it.
Brock loves to sing.
Yes. It's going to be interesting how they actually implement it, but what they were talking about originally was that data can pass like digitally all throughout a system, but it can't pass system to system digitally. It requires an actual physical something to pass system to system, right? Yeah. And that's why a herald might be useful, because you need to get system to system to system to system as quickly as possible. Yeah.
Grokkies, do you have an example of Grok the singing telegram?
Brock the singing telegram. Well, I'll use Matachi's line, so hold on. Madness! There we go. Now I'm in the Brock voice. Matachi's coming to kill you. My God, you are fucked.
Perfect. I'm already going to pre-order this.
I would shit my space pants if I got a telegram saying that the Space Bros were coming to fucking murder. You're not getting away from that.
The question is, do you send a package with a bomb with that?
No, because I want to reuse
That's
the service.
extra.
Yeah,
That's extra on the service. That's like handing them the balloons.
Yeah.
Or is that the service?
Ooh.
After he finishes, says, "You are totally fucked," and then it explodes. Yeah.
This is what Brock did before he ran and hid in the UE.
I was gonna say that service would make it one or two times, then people would be just shooting singing telegrams
Outside, yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah,
I like
I was just like, I love to
someone
troll
comes in
people. Just
game-
walk by someone and go, hey, it's a Telegram, and just walk by and just to fuck with people. Just people just start, yeah.
With the in-game
Everyone's
voice chat,
afraid
that'd be
of
hilarious
Brock
because
visiting Telegram and all of it, my minions now. I'm gonna have to hire people to do more. Yes, I'm doing this now. This is the thing.
I love it. I think it's a great idea.
I'd like to be able to serve people with legal documents in the verse. Like you actually have to track them down, and
It's like a
serve
bounty.
them. You shot
You
down
can
my
come in.
client on December 12th at 4:22 p.m. You shot down my client, and he is now claiming all of the damages, mental and asset related to your shooting down of his ship. See you in court.
See, that would be so much better
saying
if Brock
that.
sung that to the person he was
Hey,
serving.
you shut down my ship.
Due to legal precedent.
Perfect.
Oh, okay. Last question. Who asks? It's Joe's Got More. Who asks? Do you think they should make some alien foods deadly to humans, i.e., Xi'an food is based off of a carrion? Yeah, probably.
100%.
I'd also expect some food to
Definitely.
be like disgusting, but like you could eat it. So, fuck it. You'll take some poison damage or whatever, but you know.
it'll work both ways. What about human food that's toxic to them?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had American food?
Every fucking day.
Every day,
It's
son.
only it's slowly toxic.
No,
though.
I'm
It
gonna
doesn't
go down
do
to
immediate
A.
damage as much. What do you think?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out here tonight at the Astro Pub. Let's draw the winner real quickly of this. Good luck to everyone who entered. The winner is Iron Dragoon. Congratulations, Iron Dragoon. Send me a message. Send me a message on. There we go. Message
Congrats,
on
bro.
Twitch. On Twitch, I'm sorry. Send me an email and with your information, and I will send you that to you ASAP. I'm gonna call. We're gonna call it a night here. I'm gonna raid another one of my friends who is doing a stack up thing, and we'll be joining them shortly for games of Elite Dangerous in the near future, because Elite Dangerous did give us a bunch of copies of the game to give away as part of the this fundraising thing. So like the full copies, like Elite Dangerous and Horizons combo packs. So
Oh damn!
for PC. So.
Nice.
So please do stick around for that. And like I say every night, hope to see you guys again soon. But if I don't, hope to see you someday in the black. If you guys are watching this at home from YouTube, please do hit the links below for all these folks. We do this live Mondays or Saturdays, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. GMT. And hope to see you guys here live. But otherwise, have a good night, guys. Stay safe.
See you in the verse.
See you.